Welcome back, everybody, to the Inkling Brothers podcast. This is episode 23. I wanted to start off this particular episode by saying that I know it's an unknown time for a lot of people at the moment, not just for us, for a lot of people. We thought we would come back and bring back some good content for you guys for this purpose. We have a lot of spare time at the moment, same with the other guys. But we just wanted to leave you guys with a message of positivity before we get into our usual shenanigans. Things are tough. There's a lot of uncertainty and everybody doesn't know what's going on. Just reminder to take things day by day. And if you feel like everything's overwhelming, just feel free to shut off a little bit of what's going on and just take to yourself. Stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Don't be one of those people that's gonna stay outside when you shouldn't, when it's not appropriate. And on that note, I wish everybody well, and I hope you all enjoy the show. And now, introducing my fellow squids. Oh, I'm Blue Squid. Hi, everyone. I'm Royal Dude Lorenzo, as always. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. My name is Ray, also known as Meatloaf Man. I am the Purple Squid here on the Inkling Bros podcast. Welcome to Season 4 of the show.
And I'm Eric.
Awesome.
As always. Wait. Looks like somebody else is
one
here.
More guy here. You go ahead and speak, sir.
I really hope we don't.
Wonderful.
I really hope we don't get copyrighted. The what's it, reggaeton out in
the music, yeah.
All right, well
he'll introduce himself when he can, but
what were you saying, Eric?
Are you talking about that time he came in with like music in the background?
Yeah. No, but I know because I heard there was reggaeton in the street right now from outside of my window.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I hope you don't get copyrighted.
I thought you were referring to that one entrance of Isaac back in the Pokemon blog from fucking 8 million years ago.
Yo, remember that? He was like, he came in. He's like, "Oh, is it too loud?" He's like, "Yes, turn that shit off."
Yeah, and then he's like,
"Okay,
yo, turn that shit up." We're like, "Wait, what?"
Isaac, wait, no.
We all did the double click. I remember that.
I still remember it like it was yesterday. The way he said it too.
Man. Oh, all right.
Turn that shit up.
What? Wait, no, turn that shit off.
God, there were a lot of like jokes that happened in that podcast that became running gags for a short while, like Loon Rock.
Loon Rock.
Man, yeah, we were just talking about that the other day too.
Yeah, we were talking about that not too long ago.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Loon Rock.
God damn it.
Yeah, a lot of memes came out of that one. Especially remember when
that's probably still my favorite.
Eric predicted that Sun and Moon was gonna be in Hawaii.
Yeah, I remember Isaac was talking about like big theory.
You were just joking too, yeah.
Yeah. Isaac was going on with this big theory of his about how it's gonna be set in China, and then I interjected
and it sounded
with,
feasible.
What if it's in Hawaii, lol? And that was it. And I was right somehow.
He's like, get wrecked, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man. God,
but I mean,
that was back when Sun and Moon was like the next Pokemon game to come out.
Yeah, before they officially announced it, yeah.
I have Sword, I've not touched it.
I have not touched Sword either. I'm still waiting to start my file. I might soon, but yeah, there's no reason
during times like this you got plenty of time to start it. So yeah.
There's no reason why I haven't started it yet. It's just because I've been busy at work and like I feel like I need to be mentally in the right mood to play certain games. And with how Sword is, it's like a big, not a huge RPG, but just like there's a lot you have to go through in the story. So for me, like I just want to have like the right time and place in order to just properly start it. So I'll probably just start it this week, but
I don't know when I'll start it. Maybe soon, because I feel like once I beat Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I might move on to another RPG. So maybe
I am looking forward to playing it though, because I've been hearing a lot of good things from my friends who have already beaten the game. So I think it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, people seem to like it. Besides, all the controversies that happened.
Despite all of that, yeah. But I'm ignoring that for the sake of giving the game a fair shot. So, but besides that, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you couldn't tell, I'm not sure why he isn't speaking right now. Maybe something's going on in the background. But Isaac is here with us. He'll properly introduce himself later. But other than that, at some point, welcome one and all to season 4 of the Inkling Bros podcast. We're excited to be back over here.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Kept you waiting, huh? It has been a while, but we're glad to be back regularly recording these. We haven't done one in a while, mainly because...
So, not counting, like, conventions.
The live one?
When was the last time we
The week before the live one.
It was the week
that?
before, because it was like sometime in April or May.
Of 2019.
Yeah, April.
So it's been about a year.
It's been almost a year. Yeah.
That was when we talked about Shazam and Gotham and Pee Wee Herman.
Right. That was when Lawrence was like, "Don't worry."
Yeah.
I remember that was when Lawrence was like, "Don't worry, Eric. I'll watch this like 10-hour movie series." Nah, JK. I'll watch 85 hours of Gotham instead.
So I do want to take this time because we are coming back from like a long hiatus. We haven't done an episode in a while, so I do want to address the fact that the reason why we haven't recorded an episode of the Inkcast in a while is because of
we've been busy.
We've been really busy in real life. If you're a long-time listener to the show, you've heard this before. We have other things going on in our life.
We have lives. God damn it.
We want to clarify that when we made the Inkling Bros podcast, and even while we still make it today, we're not necessarily looking for fame and popularity. Like that's why we're not necessarily worried that we don't have like a huge viewership every time these episodes come out. We're always surprised by it, if anything, because I remember the freaking Planet Sheen episode got us like 300 views or something.
Yo, I remember that.
Yeah. Really?
Just because
talk about that shit.
I think primarily that was because of how it was a relevant topic because another podcast.
It was a meme.
It was a meme, and because another podcast at the time was talking about it, which I discussed in our own show. So,
all right, hold on. I'm curious. If I search Planet Sheen right now, is our podcast?
Well, it's still. It did initially, but I'm wondering. Yeah, check it right now if it still comes up as one of the first results. Because like
it doesn't seem like it is. No.
The week, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, the week that episode came out, like if you typed in Planet Sheen, at least for us, our podcast came up without any like sort of like we didn't put in Ink Bros podcast, we just put in Planet Sheen and it came up.
Yeah, it's not coming up for me. Maybe if I put podcast.
Maybe it'll probably come up there if you put podcast.
Yeah,
Planet Sheen if we put in Planet Sheen podcast, we're like the 4th result.
Nice.
So if anyone's like, "Yo, I love Planet Sheen so much, there should be a podcast dedicated to it," they're gonna find us somehow.
Yep.
Shout out once again. I mentioned them before in that episode, but shout out to the recast by Pie Guy Rules and Monsters Review. They're the ones who inspired us to talk about it mainly in that episode. Besides the fact that me and Eric would have that conversation in DMs about like freaking why the fuck did they just screw up on this show so badly. But I wanted to bring them up now too because they recently ended their podcast. So
they did.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like permanent or not. I haven't heard the last episode of it, but they did recently put their podcast to like a halt. So, but I do want to give a shout out to them. They are a really good podcast, so go check them out. Check out the archive of their show when you can. We're not sponsored, we're not friends even, but like they're a good podcast though. So
we're not friends, man.
But go in general.
Not like that. It's just we don't know them.
We don't know them, yeah. But I mean, like. In general, they're really good YouTubers, so just go check out their content in general. But going back to the main topic itself, besides the fact that we have lives and we have other things going on, like school and work and all that, and just personal stuff.
Now I'm in my second to last semester.
There's also the whole thing of like it's getting a bit harder to like meet up all the time, and I mean like. What I said earlier, like this podcast, it's not a priority. We're not worried about like, being consistent. We would like to be consistent. And, if we get a huge viewership and following out of it, honestly, I think we would just see that as kind of like a bonus. But ultimately, it should be emphasized that the Inkling Brothers podcast is a more so kind of a hobby for us. Like it's a fun thing that we like to come together to record. And before we started recording today's episode, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who was watching our most recent episode. I want to give a shout out to him, Kill a Kid. Really good guy. He is he's
an
animator.
Related to the Studio Trigger anime by any chance?
He is not really related, but I mean his name was inspired by that, so but he's an animator over at Rooster Teeth. He works on Death Battle in-house over in Austin. So shout out to him. He was telling me he was watching our most recent episode while he was animating on for an upcoming episode.
The one that just recently got uploaded of the con?
Of the con, yeah. The one that
okay.
Yeah, I was actually about to.
That one doesn't count. I wasn't in it.
Well, we mentioned you.
Yeah, you were mentioned.
Yeah, we gave you a shout out in the end card as well.
Yet, so.
Yeah.
Oh, you should go check that out though, because I did want to mention that so that episode I want to personally apologize because I do want to personally get something out there.
Apologize.
Eric, please. Let me have the floor,
Eric, please.
All right, so I do want to personally apologize because that episode should have been out like way earlier, like in 2019, like weeks after that convention happened.
Well,
again,
right. Think
it was
of it
like
this
sometime
way. You
in May.
released it earlier. If you think of the fact that it was supposed to come out in 2021.
Okay, true.
Yeah,
if
you
we
know
made
what?
the release date that year, then we actually released it super early.
I feel like that would be ridiculous. Like a 2019 panel coming out in 2021.
I mean, that's what we were talking about back during the Team Triforce stage.
Yeah.
We were like, yo, let's release this episode of E3 2015 in
Yo,
2018. And we're like,
know,
yeah,
but
okay,
like,
sure.
that was because we had like a really good conversation and like that never went out for
No,
like whatever
I was
reason.
against it because I was like, bro, are you kidding me? The games we talked about
But
in that episode are out.
Yo, like Breath of the Wild, remember that?
Man, wasn't
Man.
that crazy?
Yeah,
No,
I just wanted to make it. Sorry, I'll let you go on for just a second.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I do want to make it clear. Yes, we have always talked about it. I mean, it has also become kind of a running gag amongst us. We're just like, so when is the next podcast? And I know we get it. We do want to put out more, but again, as Ray said, this isn't like a priority. This isn't a project. This is more of a hobby. We just kind of come together. We have ideas. We want to talk. And I mean, we always talk anytime, but I do want to make it clear also that sometimes we did choose to hang out in person as opposed to doing a podcast many times in like the past maybe 6 or 7 months.
Now we probably won't be able to do that for a while.
Right, so here we are. And I don't mean then saying that like I don't like doing the podcast, I do. But I do want to make it clear that the reason why we would choose to hang out is because as you do know, our lives are busy. Eric is in grad school. I'm also finishing up school at the moment. Ray is working 3 to 4 days a week. Isaac is also busy as well. And so we don't have the time to really hang out. And when we get the rare moment to hang out, either after work or whatever,
we want to get together in person. Yeah,
we want to get together in person as opposed to
catch up with
doing
life.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's just for our personal preference. However, now because of all of the
We're not gonna say the name of it because we don't want to like get screwed by YouTube. But if you're listening to this when this episode comes out, if not, look at the release date of it. You guys know exactly what's going on around the time of this episode's recording.
Yeah.
And because of that reason, we're gonna definitely be inside more often to record some of these.
Yeah. Wait. So YouTube takes down video if we say the thing's name?
Yes.
Well,
it'll detect it. It's not gonna.
It'll demonetize it, and it'll also hide it from search results and all that.
Yeah,
all right, I guess I won't say the name, but there's a thing going on in the world right now. There you go.
Everyone knows what it is.
And then it'll put it underneath the entire like there's like a whole playlist or something like that of all the videos
they'll put like
related
a banner under it, like find more information about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Trevor Noah video that we saw.
Right.
It was in there.
Even videos that aren't about it, at all. Like, but they mention it once or twice. You know,
we're also, for the record, we're not putting it in the thumbnail either. I think that's a little insane.
That would be a little ridiculous.
Yeah, we're not gonna get viewership or try to get viewership off of talking about that.
Exactly.
We'll address it, we'll discuss it, but like, on a serious note, not like, to gain attention. We're not gonna put in a title or anything. So just so you guys know, again, this isn't a thing we're trying to make fame off of or money off of. It's just a hobby. So.
Well, no, I'm just mentioning that this is basically the reason why we saw this as the perfect opportunity.
Oh, this is the perfect opportunity.
Again. Well, because we're literally stuck in our homes for the most part.
Eric, let's be fair though, because to be fair, we were originally scheduled to do it today, but it just so happens that with everything happening right now, like, the stars, I guess, just aligned in a certain way.
I don't know if I would say that. I would say more it's like a monkey's paw.
I'm not saying it as a good thing, but I'm not
monkey's paw.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it as a good thing, but I mean,
like, I know. I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like, so I want to get back to the thing I wanted to say.
Right, go ahead.
Anything else. All right, gotcha. But the thing with the previous episode, that was supposed to come out like a while ago, but for whatever reason, like we just didn't have the time to just come together, and there was a lot of problems really with trying to edit that, because there was points in the video. If you've seen the episode, episode 22 when we go to Castle Point Anime Con, there was points in the video where there was footage missing, but we still had the audio for it, so I had to fill it in with something. So
yeah, we were waiting on that, honestly.
Yeah, so we had to see if our man Eddie, shout out to him, he helped film part of the panel. We had to see if he had any footage of that, and unfortunately some of it wasn't so good on his end either, so we had to work with what we had. And there was a point where Premiere Pro just screwed up on me, and I couldn't properly edit any video for any channel, so I was completely just out of content creation for about 3 months. And then just recently, extra shout out to my friend Natasha, fan and friend of supporter of the Inkling Bros. She hooked me up with the latest version of the Adobe Suite. And, Premiere Pro, in that version was working on my computer. So I just knew in my head the first thing I wanted to do was like, all right, I gotta get to that video. I gotta do it now while I still have the chance, because who knows if this will screw up on me later. Let me take care of this right now. Right. Especially since the podcast, the one we're doing right now, is coming out next week. So I may as well have this out so we can have this preceded the previous week, and then we have the new one to kick off season 4 the following week.
Yeah,
it was also not supposed to be the season 3 finale. Like that was just an impromptu thing I added in there in the description because it was the last episode that we were able to record, for reasons we already went into.
Yeah.
But if you guys saw that episode,
I actually have the list, the podcast list for the topics we were supposed to talk about the week
for like
after.
that following after. Yeah.
Yeah.
I even remember like we were supposed to talk about like Shazam and Captain Marvel more in depth, but we just never got around to it. There was a bunch of different things we were supposed to discuss.
Here's the list.
Wait, we never actually ended up talking about it?
No.
Oh.
And also that same weekend was when Endgame came out too.
Yeah,
so.
we did like spoiler-free stuff for like all 3 of those movies, but we never talked about them with spoilers.
Yeah, so for example, this is the list. Spoiler review of Captain Marvel. Fate, more Fate stuff.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say then.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, digital versus physical.
Oh no, we did talk about Fate and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital versus physical. Yeah, that was an episode that preceded the House of Point.
Promotional items from fast food.
I think we might have, but I'm not sure. But
Harry Potter.
I'll double check.
Can we
Harry
please
Potter,
not talk about Harry Potter?
An in-depth look at Pokemon Shield and Sword, and we wanted to announce that we went to CPAC.
Okay, yeah. So,
oh man, you want to announce that now?
Those last three titles, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
But now I do want to make it clear that if you are seeing this. Also, it was actually just announced this morning that Castle Point Anime Con will not be continuing this year. It'll be
it'll not happen this year.
Yeah, it won't. Yeah. Well, not this year. Yeah, so next year they will be coming back.
So
So
just to be official about it, I got an email because we were supposed to make an appearance. Yeah, I guess I'll just talk about it now since it's canceled. The Inkling Bros podcast was supposed to have confirmed, by the way, that we were supposed to have a panel this year at Castle Point Anime Con, which was going to happen on May 2nd through the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. That's a Saturday, Sunday. Same place, same location as last year. But unfortunately, we were making plans and all that. We were going to appear at it. There was even like a Crossover X and Team Triforce panels pending for it, like not confirmed, but pending for those for Castle Point. But we just got an email from one of the staff members this morning due to the current events that are going on right now that unfortunately the convention will not be happening. And it's completely just out of their control as well. Like, and they even tried to find measures, like they were gonna have stations and all that, just for like to have people feel safe about it. But with the things that were coming out in the news, like it was coming to a point where like, we can't keep running this. So it's understandable and it's disappointing, but we understand why they had to do it.
Right.
And there's always next year, as they mentioned, like it's not canceled permanently. Like hopefully things will look up in 2021 and, we'll definitely be there again next year. It sucks because I was very much looking forward to coming back because I had a really good time at that convention last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. We have to be safe. Everyone has to be safe. And it's for the best. And I commend Castle Point Anime Con for making this decision. And we hope to see them again this following year in 2021, whenever they may hold it. And we're definitely going to be reapplying there. We're going to try again to hold panels over there. So be on the lookout on our social media. Follow us on Twitter at brothers_inkling, and we'll announce on there news and updates about what's going on, and we'll announce it here on the show too. But in the meantime, though, because the video just did come out, if you have not seen it yet, please go check out our previous episode 22.
The banner up there will direct you.
Yep, or the little
Sorry,
eye
editor.
icon if we can. Well, whoever's uploading it later. I'll probably listen to this like when it comes out on YouTube, and I'll be like, all right, let me go add that in real quick. But it'll also be in the end card as well by the end of this, and it'll probably be in the description maybe. But if not, it'll be in our channel. So but please go check that out because I just wanted to say I worked really hard all last weekend on that episode. And everyone who has seen the episode has told me that, I did a really good job. And I'm really proud of myself because that episode is different from other Inkling Bros episodes where we have to do intensive editing for that one. Like for the Inkling Bros podcast, normally we don't put as much emphasis in editing. We just slap a static image like you see right now on the screen. Like we just put a thumbnail and, we just put a title and description together and that'll be the end of it.
Occasionally, we put in a meme, for example.
Very occasionally, how can I live without you?
What?
Commercial.
What?
You remember when we were like, and now we're bringing you Time Live, and then I just
cut to real footage,
the commercial, and then it was just it cuts in the middle, and all you hear is Eric going, "What?" It was perfect timing.
Yeah,
honestly, it was comedic timing. I love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we don't do that.
But for this episode, because it was a panel video, meaning there's footage and everything to go through, it's an all visual episode, so you just watch it instead of the usual, you just click out of another tab and then you just work on stuff while you listen to us talk.
Yeah. Although it's not necessary for you to actually watch the video. Sometimes it is, but
Yeah, but for this one, you're definitely going to want to watch it all the way to the end. If you have a dual monitor layout, you just put it on another monitor while you work on something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because this one I worked really hard on. It's unlike any other project that I've edited. I learned a lot of tricks along the way. Again, shout out to my man Eddie for teaching me a lot of stuff. Especially during that weekend
too, right?
So, but it's really cool. I'm really proud of myself for that episode. Please go check it out if you haven't. There's a lot of cool edits, a lot of cool memes that we got into. A lot of good discussions. And I was saying earlier, my friend Killer Kid, while he was working on an animation, he was watching that episode alongside, and he he was telling me in a conversation that we had before this podcast tonight that he really enjoyed watching it and he resonated with the topics we were talking about. Like he found it funny that we were talking about our mains from Teen Titans Battle Blitz of all games.
And wait, there were mains in that game?
Yeah.
And that led into a conversation that we had about like, you know, Flash games from AdultSwim.com and CartoonNetwork.com and stuff that we just used to play back in the day. And Kid is a great guy. And, you know, if you guys ever meet him, you know, awesome dude. Just, you know, shout out to him. And hopefully he's listening right now. What's up, bro?
I do want to make it clear that I was a Cinderblock main, okay? Cinderblock was really fun. Well, you could have played a Cinderblock though, right? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you could play as villains in that. Okay, but I remember Cinderblock was one of those like those enemies in that game where like he was like a wall type of character. Like so you had to give it your all when you played as that when he was the opponent. So like it was him and Plasmius, I think. Like both of them, like they were pretty much the tank type of characters.
And then you had like Jinx, who was pretty much like alter ego Robin.
Pretty much.
Go ahead.
It was a good game, yeah. You go check out that episode if you guys haven't.
I thought you were about to say go check out that game.
Oh, check out that game too if it's available.
If you could find it, yeah. I don't know like if it's archived anywhere, but if it is, yeah. Go check.
If we can find
all those Flash games, are they gone?
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but there's some that are definitely lost to like the flow of time. Like I'm pretty sure if you go to the Lost Media Wiki, there's probably like a list of Flash games that are just like, oh yeah, here's the Ed, and Eddie game that like no one's been able to find from Cartoon Network, because no one bothered to archive it or no one was able to archive. I know there's one. I think Blaven on Jorge talked about it in one of his videos. There's an Ed, and Eddie bowling game.
Right.
It would only. It was not like a typical Flash game on Cartoon Network's website. This game would only load via connecting to a server. And that server, obviously, is no longer active right now in 2020. So
yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So you can't play that game right now. But people are working to try to restore this game. Like, there's someone out there who has the files, and he's trying to artificially recreate the game. And he even got it started up. But it's in one. I don't remember what video it is, but if you just go to Blame It on Jorge's channel, you just look up like Lost Media or whatever, you'll find it in one of his videos. He talks about it more in depth. But it's a really interesting, like someone's actually putting in the effort to recreate an Ed, and Eddie bowling game. Major credit. That's dedication, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I actually, if we are able to find that Teen Titans Flash game, it will be in the description below. But I don't know how likely that is. But
hopefully it'll lead to a safe website. Yeah. But if anything, you guys do as much research into it as you will. If
and
anything.
not Newgrounds.
Definitely not be on Newgrounds. That would be like a copyright issue.
Yeah.
Why would it be on Newgrounds?
No, I said it won't be on Newgrounds.
Oh,
that's like an official Cartoon Network game. Of course, they won't be on.
Yeah, but how like other than that, I mean, that's what we've been up to.
We just I'm sorry, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if that took a little longer than you. But we just wanted to catch up with you guys, let you know what's going on, especially since we're going through a situation in the world right now. So like, let's just have a real conversation with the audience. You know, just let you guys know we're okay, we're safe, and we're back doing podcasts again.
Wait,
so
I want to have a real conversation with the audience. Are you ready?
Oh my god!
All right.
I don't like the sound of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to talk to you for a second about the birds and the bees. Okay. So when
we're gonna get taken down.
All right.
Where's he going with this?
Nowhere, not anymore.
Not anymore. By the way, unrelated, but shout out to Mr. Fred Rogers. It's his birthday today.
Oh yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Coincidentally, on the same day that Animal Crossing is out, which is also like a game neighborly. And also because of the memes, Doom Eternal is also out today. Looking forward to playing both eventually, because I know a lot of my friends are playing that.
Like Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing.
The Doom guy and Isabel, yeah, I love it.
Like I especially love the variant where they show like a tough looking character or like a scary looking character walking up to like the GameStop cashier and going,
one copy of Animal Crossing,
and then like a really small or cute character going up to the register. One copy of Doom Eternal, please.
Yo, but it sucks though because we can't really recreate that in real life right now. It'll only exist through meme.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Animal Crossing devs did acknowledge it.
They did, yeah.
I think both the Doom Eternal devs and the Animal Crossing devs.
Oh yeah, the
obviously
Doom's Twitter was like, will Isabelle be in the Animal Crossing Direct? Remember that?
They were very. I mean, I'm glad they were really they were very supportive of each other. Like that was such a nice moment.
Yeah, I'm glad the Doom developers and Nintendo are just basically like buddy now about it.
Well, Nintendo themselves aren't acknowledging it. I'm not surprised, but Animal Crossing devs are.
Yeah, Animal Crossing and the Doom Eternal devs, and it's also cool because because people brought this up, like there was a game where like the demons in hell, like they killed Doom guy's bunny, like that was actually a part of the story, and so he went into hell to avenge his bunny Daisy. So I'm like, yeah, this whole friendship between Isabelle and Doom guy, as much as it is a meme, it makes sense too because like. Doom guy would probably want like that. Would probably be like a softy kind of guy. Like he would probably realistically be friends with Isabelle if they actually like met each other. Like I don't think they would actually like Doom guy, because you know how people usually make art on the internet. It's like, oh yeah, Doom guy would totally kill like a lot of cutesy characters. I'm like, no, he wouldn't. No, he fucking wouldn't. He would kill Hellspawn, yeah, but not.
I did see
Isabelle.
one GIF though of Doom guy punching Isabelle's head off.
I unfortunately saw that. I don't want to see it again. Although to be fair though, that predates the whole Isabelle and Doom guy meme.
Yeah.
Does it? Okay, I didn't know that
because it was Halloween. So, but I don't want to see that. It doesn't make any sense in hindsight when you really think about it. So. But I mean, that's a thing, and that's another thing that's keeping people happy in the world. Just thinking about that, playing video games. Staying in touch with people like this. That said, though, we do have a list of topics tonight. So I think it's cool if we get into the podcast.
We have a list of topics? I thought we were just going to talk about stuff in general.
Yeah, check out the hashtag podcast topics channel.
Coming to you live from our new specialized Inkling Bros server, where we're much more organized with everything. But
not the showering with your dad simulator 2016.
It's
still available.
We'll keep that around. Yeah, we'll keep that around, but we won't be using it as often.
For archival purposes, we'll keep showering with your dad simulator.
I still remember when we played that game.
Stream, man.
It is still up on my channel.
The Lorenzo
actually,
channel.
It is the I think the last video that I uploaded on there.
That was a New Year's stream.
Yeah, it was a New Year's stream, I think. And we were all just playing
showering with your dad simulator.
We played showering with your dad simulator.
But you and me were.
What a game!
Yeah. And then we played also.
What a way to start the new year, right?
And then we also we played Jackbox too. After that, and my roommate at the time, Callum. Shout out Callum if you're at all watching this, but I don't think you are. But if you are, shout out. He also joined in on our Jackbox game. Yeah. I remember that. That was really cool.
We should probably do that again for Inkling Bros sometime.
At some point, yeah. Once we maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future.
I mean, now is the time more than ever, but
we could do it as streams, and then we can also if one of us has a capture, if we ever do it at conventions in the hotel room, we can just do that and just have that be content for the channel. Because Jackbox is always fun, a fun time, a chaotic time when we get together.
Chaotic. I swear, every time we play any Jackbox game, Eric is ready to kill everyone.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
No, every time we play it, we're just like, "Yo, you're the monster" or whatever, and you're like, "No, I'm not."
No. The last meetup at Lawrence's house, yeah.
Yo, I remember we're all like, "You're the alien." No, I'm not. You're the alien, and then we all vote him off. We're like, "Say I'm not the alien."
Yeah.
And then I still remember one of the 2 or 3 times we hung out at my place, and we played Jackbox, and you guys actually thought I got legitimately mad to the point where Lawrence texted me after you guys left, "Hey man, are you okay?"
I
like,
remember
what?
this because we were
buddy?
I forget, were we all playing Fibbage, I think, or something?
No,
like
we
that?
were playing. I forgot what we were playing. It was like that game where you have to lie. But one person is like the liar or whatever, and they get different prompts. So you have to try and like make it work with everyone. And I think what got me just silent was when like 3 or 4 people wrote in hentai for one.
No, it was jerking off. It was jerking off.
No, there was hentai in there too.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like jerking off hentai, Miku hentai, and I think I had the only answer
Jumping
that
jacks.
made sense,
Jumping
which was jumping jacks.
What exercise do you do in your spare time?
So everyone just started dying because they immediately knew I was the guy that like I was like the killer or whatever in that game, and I just didn't say anything. Actually, no, I think I said this game fucking sucks.
And then we just
And I
never
just
played it the rest of the night. We just stopped
and
playing.
never played it again. And then Lawrence freaking texted me in DMs like, "Hey man, are you okay? I'm sorry if like we upset you."
It was
like,
really you upset, it seemed.
I still remember the one that we were doing, like, what's a better food to have like after a one night stand, like platano con salami or pussy? I still have the gif of that because like when you finish the game, like it sends you to a page where like it shows all your responses in gif form, and I saved one of that as like a memento of the night.
Oh my god!
What one?
I forgot.
Maybe it was high.
Maybe.
Oh, looks like our priorities are straight, right? Yeah, I mean Jackbox is really fun. I love playing Jackbox.
Yeah.
We actually just recently played it.
There's a new Jackbox party pack game every 2 months.
Oh, I think they come out twice a year.
It feels like every other week at this point.
They're on 6. I think they're working on 7 right now.
You know what though, guys? It's better than buying a fucking repackaged sports game where they don't change shit about it and like they stop supporting the older version.
We talked about this in the last time we hung out, and I'm still like, I can't imagine following sports video games because it's like,
I know there's exciting?
What's new?
There's definitely people out there that do, and I've seen videos where like people.
No, I don't doubt that. I just don't get it.
I'm with you on that too. I'm like,
what are you excited about? Like, oh man, they updated the teams again. Like, what's the excitement with sports video games? Yearly sports video games, to be specific.
Oh right.
It's literally equivalent to just upgrading to a new phone. Like you do it so that you won't feel.
Literally what it is. Yeah. It's like, oh man, that dribble looks like 2% more realistic. Okay.
The Jackbox Party Pack 7 is coming this fall to major digital platforms. This is from their actual website. They actually just said that they're making the Jackbox Party Pack 7. They're already playtesting it, and it'll be out by fall.
Okay, that's good. Yeah,
but yeah,
like I said, twice a year.
With Jackbox, at least they like update the games or add new ones every time a new pack comes out.
They either make completely new games or they make like a sequel to a game they already made. Because I think they're up like Fibbage 3 or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Or the what's the name of that? The haunted house murder mystery party. There we go.
Or like use your words.
Yeah. But I don't know. With sports games, I know back then, before like internet was widely available, the big incentive was obviously like all the teams getting updated. But now with internet, it's like it's just a patch. Like just patch it and boom.
Like if it's like you're on the PlayStation 2 or the GameCube or the original Xbox, like it's valid to keep buying a new sports game because they're updating like the teams on there, and there's no way to just get DLC that way.
I could somewhat understand it back in the day when we were kids.
But nowadays, it should feel irrelevant.
I look at the games and I'm like, what is so different about 2K12 and 2K15?
And you're paying full price.
What is the difference?
Like a full $60 price.
Oh yeah, I will never pay full price for a 2K game.
Dude, there was a point where like they were releasing this, I think it was a soccer game, like a FIFA game on the Wii, and they released the same version, I think 2 or 3 times. It was the same exact game with a different title screen. No update to the teams or anything.
No one noticed.
Like the only thing they changed was the title screen and the logo, obviously, because it's the new year. But like other than that, it's the exact same fucking game right down to the code.
So with soccer, I don't follow like
looked into
football, real football. super often. But do teams like change there too? Like in
Yeah.
basketball, like people get
Not
drafted.
as often, but
Not,
just-
I
yeah,
imagine
not
not
as-
as
not as
often, yeah, because the
often.
World Cup isn't all the time.
But it's
But,
otherwise like the same fucking game.
yeah,
But yeah.
it's the same. That's why I mean, like, especially with the surprisingly, the FIFA games are really like popular. They're even more popular
Well, no,
than
yeah.
the
So here's the thing with FIFA: the UK loves FIFA.
Love,
Yeah.
I
Like,
love football.
When it comes to the
Central
UK,
and South
here's what you
America,
can
too.
expect will sell like hotcakes: FIFA, Call of Duty, and like classic PlayStation 1 games. It's very
Yep.
specific, but I'm not lying. Like
I can
Crash
believe it.
Bandicoot outsold Nintendo games for so long in the UK. Like when the
Crash
Insane
Wow.
Trilogy came out.
Bandicoot.
Because I don't know why UK just loves PlayStation 1 games. Like when Spyro Reignited came out, it was a hot seller in the UK as well. I'm not saying they didn't sell everywhere. Like both games sold really
But, like,
well
in the
all over the
US
place. But in the
In
UK,
the UK,
especially,
in
it
comparison,
was selling
it's crazy.
millions and millions of copies.
I
At least
can,
for Crash. I know Spyro didn't sell as much because Crash was always more popular, but still.
I can believe that. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just those are the big three for the UK: FIFA, COD, and PS1 games.
PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah. And there were, I
But-
mean, also in Central and South America, FIFA is like, I mean, obviously because.
Oh well,
it's
yeah, I'm
big
obviously
but
there because football is like
I
a big.
remember-
It's like the national sport for a lot of South American countries, isn't it?
I remember I remember when I was talking to like a lot of people from like, that were from actual Mexico or not actually just like they're of Mexican descent. They're actually like from Mexico and they're
Mexico
here.
itself.
Or from like Brazil or something like that. I mean, obviously places where football is big.
Yeah.
I would like, they were all like, "Yo, I'm staying up tonight. I can't wait till the next FIFA game comes out." And I'm like, "What?" Like I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, can't wait for that new Pokemon game, and then he's up here like drinking like soda and like he's getting ready to throw a party, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like,
FIFA 14 launch party.
he's like, "I can't wait till the FIFA game. Once that thing comes out, yo, I'm downloading it right away." And I'm like,
and to be like real, like I'm not like looking down on people who
Yeah.
genuinely follow sports games. I just don't get it. Like I look at it and I'm like, how? Like you know how with certain series, everyone has like their favorite entry. Like say with Spyro, some people prefer the first game, some prefer the second, some the
Right.
third. Like I can't imagine someone going, "Yo, NBA 2K15 was so whack, dude. 2K14 was way better." And I'm like, what's the difference? Like, what makes you say that? I really need to know. I'm
Unless-
like, I don't get it.
Unless
now
they-
actually they're doing a lot of big changes now because every fucking like every year they have a new 2K game.
unless
They have
unless,
like
like-
the casinos and stuff like that now.
unless like EA just put out like a really shitty mess of like a new game.
Yeah, I mean,
then,
like,
yeah, I'm
obviously,
going back to
if
the old
it's like
game.
a huge mess, like what happened with the latest WWE game. Did you hear about that? Where
What
it
happened?
came out and it was so buggy to the point where once 2020 hit, the game wasn't working because of
What?
how weirdly it was coded. Yeah.
Yo.
Like it was bugged up the ass, super low frame rate, really low res textures. Like it was a sloppy mess.
One of those things
And
where it's
at
like
one
I don't
point,
care
it
if
just wasn't playable.
it's like I don't care if the game or the code is shitty, just put out the game.
So in instances like that, I can obviously like understand someone saying 2K19 was way better. But like
Yeah.
when it's just a normal video game, like it just comes out, I don't get it when people are like 2K12, 2K13 though, yeah.
But you have to understand too, it's EA who's making these sports games, at least the majority of
EA
them.
makes
So
some
I'm
of them.
like, yeah,
2K
like
makes the others.
right. And the thing is that they will obviously not want to update the older games. They'll want to incentivize people to buy the newer games so that they can get the latest, like, teams and all that and the updates and modes and everything. And I'm like, for there, like, I can get it, but I mean, like, it's still kind of dumb, especially because it's EA, and like, that this is one of like their schemes to like just get more money out of people through video games.
Well, because I
And it's
think
really-
Lawrence mentioned that
kinda
like with
scummy,
the NBA 2K games, they're adding like literal gambling now, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that
that's
shit too.
pretty sus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it absolutely is. The thing is, like, actually, fun fact. Before I go on about this, My friend, one of my friends from high school, he was on News 12 The Bronx yesterday or the day before.
Shout out to News 12 The Bronx.
Let me tell you something. He's now a pro esports player for the Brooklyn Nets division of esports.
Holy
For, like,
shit.
NBA 2K?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Oh, look, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know there was an esports scene for.
Oh, there's
games.
there is. That's one. But
No,
two,
honestly, I can
there's a
believe
team.
that, honestly.
There's an esports team for
I just never heard
every
of it.
NBA team that's out there, right? So like the Brooklyn Nets have their team, right? And the Phoenix Suns have
They're probably better
theirs.
than the real Brooklyn Nets.
Probably. I mean, hey, you look. I'm telling you, right? Actually, two of my friends. One of my friends got drafted first, and then the year after he got drafted, my other friend got drafted.
They should be like, yo, I just got drafted to the Brooklyn Nets, and they don't specify that it's the esports version,
I'm
so that
telling you,
everyone
they're
thinks
making,
they're actually like going into the NBA.
They're making bank. Like, I mean, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars on sponsorships, on their actual salary as an esports player. I'm like, wow.
Honestly, good for him.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
honestly,
mean, that's
good. And
props, you know.
Yeah.
everyone say, yo, I wanna make money making video games or playing video games, and they did it. They absolutely freaking did it. But yeah, I mean, to go back to my point about the gambling, I mean, you have all the people that play it, they're all kids. Like, mostly there are a lot of also teenagers and like adults who are like, they don't really care much for, they'll buy the new COD, they'll buy the new FIFA, they'll buy the new WWE or Madden, right? They don't care for games like Animal Crossing or whatever, Doom, Legend of Zelda. They don't care for that stuff. But they'll buy the next 2K. And the thing is, like, these companies like 2K, and they feed off this stuff. Like they're like, hey, now you can, like, there's a casino in game and you can use your own money to get free stuff inside the game. And it's just like, I already have my issues with the whole loot box system in general. I know obviously it's all like in general, if it's all cosmetic, then I don't really have a problem with that. Use your money how you will do it. But if you're out there trying to scheme money out of people, like, and make it like almost unavoidable, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, especially if a lot of your audiences are kids. Especially that's the case with, like, I mean, like, I'm a little more lenient on Fortnite, because with Fortnite it's just like, it really is up to you. You can get so much free stuff in the game just by playing it. So you don't really need to pay anything. And I get that people do get bullied because they don't have the money to buy like the rarest skins or whatever. But as you grow up, it's just kind of like, I don't really give a shit. Like, if I don't have the latest skin, I'm not really gonna care. I've been using the same skin in Fortnite for like the longest time ever, but like, hey, I like it. I probably haven't spent more than $20 in the entire game. So, but like, that's just kind of my take on that. It's just, it's not my favorite practice at all. In general, like, especially because we were kids once, at a time when it's like, oh, people would always be like, when they got the new game or something like that, their friends would kind of make fun of them because they didn't get the game, or they're like, oh, yo, you suck, or you have a Wii but you don't have a 360 or a PS3, you suck, bro. Like, things like that. I remember that time was hard, so I'm sure, like, it's just as hard nowadays, especially because everybody is online, everybody's playing games online, everyone has one or two systems at this point, right?
Yeah.
And they're all playing like 2K, or they're playing like Fortnite or whatever, and their friends are gonna make fun of them because, oh, you suck, you don't spend money in this game on their slot machines.
Is that really what's happening these days?
I'm sure about it. Like, I mean, like,
I don't know.
I remember a couple years ago when I used to a bunch of.
I feel like they put that stuff in there because they know some kids are probably playing on a console that has their parents' credit card, and they don't know any better, so they start using it. I don't think they're making fun of others for not buying like cards or whatever in the game. I don't think that's true.
From what I've experienced in like real time, a couple years ago when I taught some high schoolers, they were actually making fun of kids, who weren't, I think, what was the game that came out? Was it 2K19 at the time? One of the 2K games of that, either the previous year or that year, came out, and if you didn't get that game, you were not considered cool. And if you didn't have the outfit or something like that, you weren't considered cool. And a lot of people were also playing Fortnite. So at the same time, if you had just the basic skin, you were also looked at in that same exact way.
I mean, I could kind of understand it for Fortnite, not really for something like Madden or NBA.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole controversy about that, because I think last year that was when they introduced the slot machine mechanic in that game, and that was when a lot of people were very against it.
Some games are it's crazy to me, because a big controversy that people talk about is like in-game microtransactions and DLC and stuff like that. Like, that's always been a huge controversy. And then we've gone to the point where some games are straight up just adding actual gambling. Like GTA 5 also added
GTA.
like a casino where you just gamble money. And obviously it's in-game money, but you could buy in-game money with real money. So it's like, yeah, they literally added gambling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that legal?
It really isn't. I think it was actually one of the countries out there. I'm not sure. I actually did ban like that game, because like gambling is just kind of gambling in the hands of kids is really like,
I know
sketch.
I mean, with GTA 5, when we go by ESRB, they shouldn't be playing the game, but obviously a lot of parents don't care about that. They just buy what is popular.
Yeah.
And, GTA is always popular.
Yeah. I remember every time I used to buy a game, like, they always, like, when I was under 18, I would have to bring my folks inside, especially with Grand Theft Auto, and I'd be like, I was like, hey, I kind of want to buy this. And then they'd be like, how old are you? Oh, I'm 14. Oh, well, I need a parent to sell you this. I'm like, what? And then I had to bring my parents in, and then they'll, start making that conversation with them, and just like, they look at me and they're like, are you sure about this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I want it. And they're just like, it's Grand Theft Auto. I really don't like Grand Theft Auto, man. That thing really gets to you. I'm like, what the hell? I remember, I wasn't the only one, by the way. Like, I remember watching Kid when the God of War PSP came out. And, the game is obviously rated M. But he was... The Best Buy worker was talking to him. He's like, this game is rated M. And he's like, yeah, I know. It's like, there's a lot of violence, gore, and sexual themes. Yeah, I know. And his parents were just like, you hear that? There's a lot of violence, son.
You hear that, son?
And the worker...
Are you winning, son?
Did you hear that, son? How's your work?
And the worker is like, yeah, so I just want to let you know also, do you give permission for this? And I'm just like, yo, what is it with this contract? He already said yes. The parents already...
Bro, I said yes 4 times already, give me the game.
And then, obviously understandable, but at the same time, it was just really funny because...
You just had to ask once, the most twice.
Yeah, and then after that, the worker was still reluctant. He was like, all right, just letting you know, it's very graphic. Once I get this out of the cage, there's no turning back. Yeah, I swear, he was I wish
I'm not responsible for
up.
any damage caused.
I wish I was making this up, but this kid, like... I
can believe it. Yeah, I can believe it. From
they
the stories I hear.
Like, they really went out of their way to make sure this 9-year-old kid didn't get God of War.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good game, but, like... Chains of Ascension, I think. That was the one that came out on the PSP, right? Was it Chains of Ascension?
Chains of Ascension? You mean Chains of Olympus? That's on PSP, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Chains of Olympus.
Chains of Ascension. You literally combined 2 titles together.
Well, it sounds like a God of War title, to be fair.
Chains of
Chains of
Ascension. Oh my god.
Oh.
God of War Ascension was the second PS3 God of War game. Chains of Olympus was the first PSP God of War game. Good lord.
Kratos just uses the chains to ascend to heaven.
Well, you know, there
Chains of Ascension.
every
Oh
single
my
podcast
God.
episode has to have at least one flaw.
New NFL 2K. And you know what,
Oh, you know
though?
what's funny? He got it right.
NFL 2K
predicted the
is actually
future.
coming. So you know what, Lawrence? You know how there's a new God of War story that's happening right now with the PS4? Maybe that's the next game in the series.
Yeah,
God of War Chains of Ascension.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in case you so there's probably new viewers coming in, but in a past episode, Lawrence misspoke once, and he accidentally said NFL 2K, which technically it was only like a from what I researched, it was a game that was only came out on the Sega, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't referring to that game. I'm pretty sure he was referring to like NFL and 2K games in general, and I guess he just mistakenly combined the two games, and we made fun of him one time. Well, mostly Eric and Isaac made fun of him, and I just laughed along in one episode. But I mean, like, and that became like a thing that we referenced, like NFL 2K. Okay.
Well, it's because he had so many blunders like that. It was hilarious.
In that one episode, and then proceeding afterwards, like Spider-Man episode 9.
Spider-Man episode 9.
Yeah, but like, and then it just got recently announced in real-time current events that there is an NFL 2K game that's coming. So
yeah,
there we
2K
go.
is going to be making NFL games again.
Yeah.
I don't think
and also,
I don't think they're going to be yearly, but they are going to start making them again.
Right. And then I think we did speak about this on a previous episode, I think, but Cuphead came out on the Switch, and that was something that Lawrence
he said
joked about in the
Switch,
past too.
And then we're like, oh my god, it's not coming to Switch.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ.
Christ. And then it actually came out on Switch. There you go.
Yeah, because like the context of what Lawrence was talking about was that he was making an example of what's a game that will never come to the Switch, and he named Cuphead because that was a Microsoft exclusive at the time. And then a year or two later, like Nintendo Direct announced Cuphead's coming to the Switch. There it is. Just what you wanted, Lawrence. And yes, to put an end to the meme, I own Cuphead now. So
yes.
Oh wait, you finally bought it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it like a few months ago.
Oh, nice. Did you play it?
Yeah.
Did you really?
You finished it?
I haven't finished it yet, so.
Oh.
How hard is it?
Really?
Are you saying really as in like, come on,
like
Eric,
really hard?
Really as in like, it actually is really hard?
Well, I guess you can use both ways. Like, really, Eric, you're saying it's hard, but then also like, yeah, Eric, it's really hard.
Yeah, idiot. It's really hard.
Really? It's really hard. No, but on a real note,
what was the last thing I did predict something, I think, right?
You predicted NFL 2K and Cuphead.
Right. Okay.
So Spider-Man episode 9 is the next thing that's probably going to happen.
Well, Spider-Man episode 9, I'm looking forward to it.
But we have to wait for the first date, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And they have to be films too. They can't be like TV show episodes like Spider-Man episode 9.
I'm actually like, I don't know. I still haven't gotten Cuphead on the Switch. I know I should because I like.
Well, it's the
Cuphead
best
on the
thing.
PC.
Like, it's a good game to have portably.
It's the best day ever.
It's the best day ever.
We're gonna get copyrighted. Stop it.
Nah, we're not.
But yeah, no, I am so glad. Well, by the way, I do want to mention that the NFL 2K game that is coming out is not like your typical like run of the mill.
Yeah, it's not going to be like
game.
a yearly thing, but they are going to start making an NFL game.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think they said it was going to be more of a like, either a mini game based kind of thing, or like you're actually simulating a player playing the game and stuff like that, as opposed to switching from player to player, trying to get you're going against another team like in the other 2K games. I'm looking forward to MLB 2K. That's the next thing that I'm going to predict right now.
MLB 2K?
Yeah.
They already make MLB games, don't they?
Well, then he can't wait for the next one.
Well, wait, do
Yeah,
they
like,
make
what are you
2K? Is there an MLB 2K already?
There's been MLB 2K games before, yes.
Whoa.
Are they making them right now?
Hey.
Well,
nice.
I think the last one was like 2K13.
Oh yeah,
So
because they
then-
moved to the show now. Like they have their
Well,
own,
I mean, the show was always a different series.
Oh wait,
It was
really?
a PlayStation exclusive series.
Which might come to Switch and Xbox, rumor has it.
All right. Well,
Oh
I
yeah, that's
cannot-
true. There is
I can't
rumors that it
wait
might
for-
come to like other, yeah.
Well, I'm looking
No,
forward to
consoles.
MLB 2K whenever it comes back.
When it returns, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
If NFL 2K can come back, anything can.
You know, I am. That is my prediction. We'll keep it right here. Keep posted, everybody. MLB 2K
I'll be
is
the first to
hopefully
report.
going to come back.
Kobe
All
on
right?
MLB cover.
Oh man, I
Rest in
do
peace.
actually want to say, yeah, rest in peace to Kobe
Rest
Bryant.
in peace, Kobe Bryant.
I will. Yes,
and
and
Gigi Bryant.
speaking, and Gigi and everybody lost their lives on that helicopter crash.
The helicopter crash.
Earlier.
That was
last
a
month?
really
No,
sad
in
day
January.
when we learned the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like late January, I think it was.
I actually did want to bring up. I know Eric was saying this earlier about NBA 2K games. Like, oh yeah, my favorite is this. I will admit, my favorite NBA 2K game is 2K10. For a few reasons. And you know, I'm not really that big of a sports. Like, I don't play the sports games as much. I usually buy them on discount, and usually heavy discount. I actually bought 2K19 for $2 on most of my systems because it was $2 last year at the end of the season. So yes, I did do it.
Are you
will
naming
say-
NBA 2K10 because that's the one where Kobe was on the cover?
Kobe was on the cover. That's my big one, and also it was, I think, either the last one or second to last game where players were in before they retired. So I actually did enjoy that. So yeah,
I will
that's all.
say, you know, to at least defend the whole thing of like, oh yeah, like, you know, I like this year's game better than the current one. Like, I will say maybe part of the reason why people say that, like, maybe that just happened to be a good year where like some of their favorite players were available to play as, and then, you know, maybe that year in general, like, it just gives them nostalgia of like, oh yeah, this was in real life, this was a good year for like the NBA or like the MLB. So I like this year's version of the game better because it gives me those memories. And I played this game during that time and I was recreating those games retroactively. So
yeah,
I can say that as a legit reason at least. But like, if it's just like some minor things, like, you know,
yo, the UI is great, guys.
UI and all that, yeah.
Yo, the graphics, amazing, yo. I'm just sitting there like,
it's funny 'cause
graphics.
in regards to the graphics, I remember seeing a Twitter thread showing off like graphics from the previous NBA 2K game and graphics of the upcoming one, and it basically just showed off that there's a lot of sweat. You see the sweat on the players. But the funny thing is, I read some of the like replies in the tweet because it was like a whole thread, and people were replying like, I swear to God, this same exact thread happens for every new release. And then another guy replied to him and saying, no, you're right. That's literally what happens. And they linked them from the same Twitter user, the same thread from like 2K17 versus 2K18. And then in there, 2K16 versus 2K17. And it was always the same thing where it's like, there's more sweat in like each new release, which I thought was pretty funny. So it's like, so what's happening then? Like, when do we get to the point where it's enough and we can't really upgrade it anymore?
Yeah, it reminds me of that time with the puddles from Spider-Man.
Puddlegate,
PS4,
yeah.
Puddlegate.
Didn't they?
I still fucking love the response to that.
The response was, it looks like a lot of people wanted us to put puddles. So I think what they put back puddles,
for the photo
and
mode.
here's some stickers for the photo mode, and it was puddles. It was amazing.
And you can see like because you know how when you peel off stickers, there's like a white outline around it because like obviously it's not a perfect cutout. They did that with the puddles in the game's graphics. I was like, oh wow, it's like the white outlines around the puddles and everything.
Yeah.
So you can just manually.
That was pretty ridiculous. That whole thing is like, yo, they got rid of the puddles. Obviously, this means the game looks worse now.
Dude, I fucking love that. First of all, yeah, that was a stupid, ridiculous controversy, but I fucking love the developers' responses to all the controversies that they got, like with the Raimi suit. How they were like, people were always from the very beginning like, yo, add the Raimi suit into the game. Come on, Sony. And then they finally added it towards the end of the game's development, I think for like Christmas or something, as a free
for
update.
free.
Like you didn't have to buy it or anything. I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm wondering if I think I even saw like a Reddit thread on the Spider-Man, because there's like a Spider-Man PS4 Reddit subreddit that I actually used to follow a lot because of like, you know, gameplay updates and memes and all that. And so I'm on there reading it. I think I remember seeing comments like this too. But even in my head, I'm thinking, wow, people must really feel like shit right now for making a whole big deal out of like both Puddlegate and the Freemy suit thing. I'm like, damn.
Until some people started going, all right, now add the Amazing Spider-Man suit.
Amazing Spider-Man suit and the wrestling
add
suit
both
from the
Amazing
first movie.
Spider-Man 1 suit and Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit.
Yo, and then
the wrestling suit from the first movie.
Yeah. Oh, right. And don't forget Bagman.
Bombastic Bagman.
Yeah, they finally added that.
Yeah, they added that too.
That was the last one actually that they added, right? I think.
I'm not sure.
They haven't added anything. I can't remember what the last suit was, but yeah, they haven't added anything in a long time. So I assume they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I think, yeah, there was actually an update, I think, that came out from the studio. I think they said that, oh, it's a rumor, actually, not I remember. I read about this yesterday. The end of 2021 is rumored that the next Spider-Man PS4 follow-up game. That's when.
I mean, at that point, it's probably going to be on PS5.
Yeah, it'll probably be on PS5.
That'll probably be a PS5 title.
It's rumored that there's going to be new swinging mechanics, and that Venom, as you know, spoiler, tease at the end of the game, of course, and also Carnage are going to be in the game.
Oh wow, that's going to be interesting.
So I am looking forward to that.
All the villains in the last Spider-Man game really well. I will be honest.
Really well, yeah.
I didn't like. I thought it was going to be one of those messes where like.
Because of the Spider-Man movies have how like
even
both
not even just that,
like when
Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 had
Spider-Man,
3
Amazing
villains.
Spider-Man 2 had like 3 villains.
Not also that, but also like the fact that like in previous games, I'm not sure they handled like the villains, like having a lot of villains at once, kind of all that well.
I can see what you mean by that. Yeah, just looking at the past games, because like,
well, I'm not gonna lie,
for some of the past games, it's like
earlier,
they're just
Spider-Man games, but I can't remember how they handled villains, so I can't.
Right. Yeah. I can see what Lawrence means. Like maybe it's like, oh yeah, we have all these Spider-Man villains here, but like they're just kind of there. Like they don't actually like. They're not cool, or they don't play like as big a role as you think that they would with them being here. But like, you know, with a game like Spider-Man PS4, so I will admit openly, like, because I don't have a PS4 yet. I probably might not at this point, if you know, with the PS5 coming out and if it's backwards compatible with PS4. But
I heard that, yeah.
Regardless of the fact,
if you're wondering.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later on, but yeah, I don't own a PS4, but I've gotten to play the game for like an extended amount of time, like a few hours, and I've seen the entire story through like, you know, those long plays that people upload. So I've seen this whole game from front to back. And I just want to say, like, I'm super impressed with what they did, not only with the gameplay mechanics from what I played, but also just with the story in general. Like, it's a genuinely beautiful Spider-Man story, one of the best that I've seen written for the franchise in a really long time. Like, I think they took the appropriate amount of time developing the game and, you know, developing the story and all that, and making sure the gameplay was as close to perfect as possible. Like, this really is like, next to Spider-Man 2, originally, this is
on PS2.
Yeah, this is genuinely the definitive Spider-Man experience for video games, and
I mean, pretty much
a really amazing game. And that ending, like, I won't say anything, like, it still gets me every time.
I think you can. You know, the game's been out for a while.
Well, there's still people who haven't played it though, and I think people, if you own a PS4 or if you're looking to own one, or PS5, you owe it to yourself to pick up Spider-Man PS4 and just play through that story. It's even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, you know, this is your gateway into that.
So good.
Because like, you know, I enjoy the MCU. I enjoy the previous Spider-Man films. There's even stuff that, like, you know, I don't think Amazing Spider-Man 2 or 1 in hindsight were the best Spider-Man movies. There's definitely a lot of flaws in them, but there's stuff about them that I still genuinely enjoy about them. But compared to all that, Spider-Man PS4 is like the peak definitive experience, like, of this character to me. Like, this is Spider-Man, and this is Peter Parker. And there's a good balance of both. Like the characters in it, like this it feels really good. Like the graphics, the realism in it, like holy shit. Like I think you guys like can agree. Like even with like the Stan Lee cameo, like
Oh yeah, I remember that, the Stan Lee cameo in the
Yeah.
game.
That was so good.
It's truly an amazing game. It's worthy of that moniker. So go play
I'd
it. Go play it if you
say
haven't.
that game, Spectacular Spider-Man, the TV show, Spider-Verse, and the Raimi movies are my favorite Spider-Man pieces of Spider-Man media outside of the comics. I'll say that
Wholeheartedly
on
agree,
record
yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
Also, will say
I liked it.
one thing that's pretty hilarious about the Spider-Man PS4 game. It's the only thing regarding Spider-Man that I can think of where Norman actually cared about his son.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's different. But yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Oh yeah. So I really, my favorite thing I think about that game is that it was just like it was a game that I feel like redefined Spider-Man for the future. I know that sounds super vague and super like globally like outreaching, but I'm serious. I feel like it's always in the past been kind of hit or miss with a lot of Spider-Man content, and which again kind of up in the air about how that's going. But I I enjoyed every single minute of playing this game. I remember Eric and I on the right on the day before the game was supposed to come out, we went out to J&L. Shout out to our favorite local game shop. Support your mom and pop brick and mortar shops, J&L Games here in New York
Definitely.
City.
Please go support them.
We went out and actually purchased it a day early. I know it's
we
a
did.
day, but like just because, I think we actually did end up playing it. I think he actually didn't play it immediately, but I ended up playing it that night, and
I did eventually play it. I eventually 100%ed it. I got all the trophies and everything. I even 100%ed the DLCs, which were bullshit, by the way.
I agree.
Some of the DLCs had an insane difficulty spike. Like, no joke, to the point where I was raging. Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I heard about
I
that.
still haven't gone 100% on all the DLC, but I don't care.
Because you didn't do all the like, I forgot what they're called, like hangouts or whatever. Like the areas where you have to like defeat waves of enemies.
Do the challenges or something.
Yeah.
No, oh, okay.
Those are some of those are fucking bullshit.
What's it called? Jackbox or Pop?
Jackbox, really? Yeah.
Going back to that.
What's her name? I forgot her name.
You talking about the webcam chick, like who does?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
I forgot her name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I'm gonna call her Popbox.
She was in a side quest in the main game, and then she became like.
She's an actual Marvel character, by the way, like part of.
She is. I know. It's just
they just updated her to like, oh yeah, she's live streams like this shit now.
She's annoying, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Screwball.
She was in the main game.
Screwball.
And then she became a part of there you go. And then she became a part of every DLC. She had screwball challenges, and they were gimmicky as shit.
Like the Riddler challenges.
Basically.
Yeah. Some of those.
Well, like in the main game, it was Taskmaster challenges.
Right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Taskmaster.
And then in the DLC, it was screwball challenges. Screwball challenges were bullshit. I'm just gonna say
Taskmaster challenges were all right. I mean, you just if you kept doing it, it became muscle memory.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were annoying, but they weren't as bad as the screwball challenges. Those are just total bullshit.
The screwball challenges and some of the like forts you had to take over were annoying.
Yes.
But yeah,
so it's
I powered through it and I did it, but it was annoying.
It's funny because I never played the game because I don't own it, but like when I was watching the long playthrough, the person I was watching did all the screwball challenges during the main story, so I'm now finding out like, oh, that was DLC. I thought it was like part of the main game.
Yeah. I mean, it's the entire...
Well, it's separate, like the DLC campaigns, you have to load them up separately. Like there's the main game and then there's like each 3.
There's also like, are the drones part of like the main game or the DLC?
I think drones were part of the main game.
Part of the main game.
Yeah,
Okay,
those
yeah.
are Taskmaster
Those are those are ones that you have to set up as well.
Yeah, the ones that I really hated, the combat challenges were all right. You just had to like spam like your abilities. Those were like the way you were going to do that. And you had to try your best not to take any damage. And by the way, let me tell you something. Peter Parker is made out of fucking paper in this game.
If you play on the
know.
hardest difficulty, which they released as DLC, I remember it went from hard or whatever, and then they released like a super hard difficulty that added like two
super
trophies.
Hard.
And I remember I did New Game Plus with that max difficulty, and then I did the DLCs. And yeah, on the hardest difficulties, playing those bullshit DLCs, Peter would die in like 3 hits, I think.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It was
made
insane.
out of paper in this game.
Which makes sense if you think about it. I mean, he's nimble. Like he's
strong, but not one of the strongest heroes out there. Like he's not the Hulk or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he like obviously he's strong as hell, but he's not like insane. He's not impervious.
Right. And I think
like to compare it to Arkham, he's a lot more speedy compared to Batman and how he plays in the Arkham series.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you got to be on the move. You got to be moving around, and if you get hit, especially with a gun, your health is gone, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like how I feel too. It's just like it makes sense, obviously. I mean, a lot of people like to compare it to the Arkham games because of the way it plays, the mechanics, and everything. I really do enjoy that about it. I will say that you're absolutely right. Obviously, if you get shot, Batman can take a few hits. Peter Parker, on the other hand, can like die in a few hits because
which is kind of hilarious because there are some suits in the Spider-Man.
I was about to say,
that are made of like metal and stuff, and I'm like, should this improve my health?
Yeah, like he even gets some of the suits from like the comics where like they're supposed to be in those continuities, but in the game like they only just do so much against that.
Do you
like there's an Iron Man? There's basically an Iron Man suit in the game, and I'm like, bro,
the Iron Spider suits.
There is funny you bring that up because there is actually the exact opposite of that. There is a suit where he's entirely naked. And,
I mean, obviously with that, it makes sense that he dies in like 2
right.
But if you land your hit, it's a 1 hit always.
Yeah,
so
that's
at that point, it's just a matter of are you able?
I remember
to,
that suit. It's if you get hit once, you die, but all the enemies die in 1 hit as well. So basically, just don't get hit.
Yeah, so
no damage runs Spider-Man PS4.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's possible. You just have to like
no
really
damage speed
try
run.
hard. Especially with some of those challenges, like if you are able to like, if you're good at dodging hits and your hand-eye coordination is pretty good, then you can absolutely.
I think the main game might actually be doable without getting hit. For the DLC,
I can believe
if you can do it without geting hit, you deserve a fucking Olympic medal.
You're fucking god.
Because that was insane.
The change of attention.
On a real note, though, I will say, I am looking forward to the sequel. They haven't said too much about it.
I hope they don't forget about Ratchet and Clank, though.
I hope not either. I hope they manage to get the series together again with that, along with Jak and Daxter and Sly. Like I want to see those. Well, I mean,
Jak and Daxter is by Naughty Dog, and that series is basically dead.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm saying Sony games in general. Like I want to see it come back because
Sly Cooper though. Like what happened?
There were because the reason I bring those up. The reason I bring those up, like, when you say Ratchet and Clank, is because there were plans to also have a Jak movie and a Sly movie as well. And those plans, because of how the Ratchet and Clank movie did, those plans did not come out to fruition. So all that ended up getting scrapped.
Great,
even though if you watched, I didn't watch the movie, but in the Ratchet and Clank movie, there was build up to like having a shared universe. Like there was a moment where like Clank was looking at a computer and you saw like references to Jak and Daxter's species names, and you also saw like a raccoon name in there. I was like, damn, they were building up and now it's not happening.
They were building up a PlayStation universe.
PlayStation All-Stars the movie.
It's actually funny that you bring that up because I actually this was maybe a year ago or at this point. I downloaded the Sly Cooper games, the ones that were available on PS Vita, and I was actually, I was playing through it, and I was really enjoying it. Honestly, it was like it gave me a lot of nostalgia because I loved the Sly games. Sly was actually one of my first games on my PS2 was Sly 2, and I hadn't played Sly 1, so I kind of just came in and I was like, well, I don't know who these guys are, but I'm just gonna play this game because it looks
Play
fun.
the game.
I remember,
and eventually I got one. So
yeah. So basically with the PS2, I remember it was like the big three when it comes to like platformers with anthropomorphic characters. Because I know a lot of people would. I remember I knew a lot of kids in school that would talk about these three series to the point where I honestly thought that maybe they were all in the same universe. Like it was like a shared thing because there was Ratchet and Clank, there was Sly Cooper, and there was Jak and Daxter. All three.
The funny thing is, they eventually did do that with that PlayStation Move game. Like they actually brought them all together and they interacted.
Yeah. And I know that like Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter had like references and stuff to both series
To each other,
because
yeah.
Insomniac and Naughty Dog were basically neighbor studios.
Yeah.
And they were on
They were
really good
buddies.
terms, so they would always do that.
That
Even
reminds
back
me
in
of
like the PS1 days, they were always on good terms with Crash and Spyro.
That reminds me of how Avatar used to make references to SpongeBob like once in a blue moon because they were literally right across the hall from Nickelodeon Studios in the same on the same floor. So like there was an episode where Aang talked about like, oh yeah, I saw some sea sponges down there. Like that's the reason why.
SpongeBob?
Yeah, but I remember
SpongeBob and Avatar were like neighbors. Like when those
like
shows
in Nickelodeon's animation studios, they were literally across the hall.
Wow.
Similar to how Insomniac and Naughty Dog were like right across the hall from each other.
Nice.
But yeah, like those were the three big PS2 platformers that featured anthropomorphic characters: Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jak and Daxter. And I remember everyone
the
played
Holy
those.
Trinity.
And I don't know. So for you guys, what were your favorites? Because I think for me, my favorites go from Ratchet and Clank to Jak and Daxter, and then to Sly Cooper. I enjoy all three, but that's how I rank them.
I think I was a huge Sly Cooper fan over. I just really like the theming was really nice. The characters are really fun to play around with. I would have to say that Jak and Daxter probably next. I still play a lot of Ratchet and Clank, don't get me wrong. Especially when they had the was it Agent Clank? Was that the game on PSP?
Secret Agent Clank, that was a spin-off.
Yeah, the spin-off. I remember playing the spin-offs for Daxter and Secret Agent Clank. And I did own the original. I think I owned Jak and Daxter 1. And I owned also which game? I owned Ratchet and Clank. I think it was a third game.
Up Your Arsenal?
Yeah.
It goes Ratchet and Clank, then Going Commando, then Up Your Arsenal.
Yo, I'm sorry to cut into Lawrence, but like that's honestly my favorite thing about like the Ratchet and Clank thing. Like every time I went into Blockbuster, like I go to the game section and I see the Ratchet and Clank games.
Yeah.
I love the puns and the titles, like Up Your Arsenal and like
Up Your Arsenal.
On the back of the box, there was even one where the tagline was like kicking ass, one planet at a time. But like they didn't say ass, they just censored it with like the at symbol and two money symbols.
I think it was. So I think I actually had the first Ratchet and Clank. That's what I got, and I think I actually also got the recent one that came out. Though it was just called Ratchet and Clank, right? Yeah, 2016
on PS4. Yeah, it's a reimagining of the first game,
right?
That tied in with the movie more or less.
Oh, Going Commando. That was the one I had. I had the second.
Going Commando was the second one.
Yeah, I had the second one. That was that. It was really good. So if I had to say something, I would definitely say Ratchet and Clank is maybe either my. I think it would be my third. Just because I wish I could have had more fun playing the Ratchet and Clank games. Jak and Daxter I think goes second. I really enjoyed. I think Daxter was a great character, great comedic relief. Also Jak is, I mean, I don't want to say he's hot, but like he's.
I was like, where's he going with this?
I mean, I would say he's good looking. So,
well, yeah, some people do, just to, I guess, generalize what you're saying. Some people will find him to be an attractive actor, and I mean, yeah.
I mean, if you look at the cover for
I'd say
Jak
he
3,
is.
I mean, my
I
man
mean,
grew
there's some
up.
parts
He
in
has
the
his arms
games
out
where
and
he takes
everything.
off his shirt, so I'm like, yeah.
He grew up, man. Let me tell
I
you.
still love that his first voice line ever was, "I'm gonna kill Praxis."
Praxis.
I'm like, damn, just sinking in that edge right away.
Yeah, but definitely it goes. I think it's Sly, Jak and Daxter, and then Ratchet and Clank. But yeah, what about Ray?
Ray, yeah. What about you? How would you rank the big three for PS2?
So the funny thing is, like, like I said earlier, like, I didn't get to own the Sony consoles, not because I didn't want them or anything, like, but
Nintendo, bitch.
I would have totally loved to have owned these consoles when they came out. But I did have a lot of interactions with the PS2, especially growing up, because both of my cousins, like, different cousins owned them. So like I was able to play a lot of PS2 games and get deep in a lot of them. And so I definitely got exposed to Sly Cooper, I got exposed to Ratchet, and I got exposed to Jak growing up.
Damn, that's Ratchet, bro.
What?
If I have to say, my favorite of the three of them is definitely Ratchet and Clank, the original. I got to play some of the later games, but the original is the one I played the most and ended up getting through like a huge majority of the game with. It's definitely an all-time favorite. I have a lot of memories with the dialogue in it, and I just remember it being like just really enjoyable. And Sly Cooper in particular, I remember playing at the after school center that was at my elementary school, because there used to be a PS2 there, and Sly Cooper was one of the games that we would play on there. So we would play that, and I remember having a really good experience like with all the levels on there. And then with Jak and Daxter, my cousin Angel, Lawrence knows him. He was a huge Jak and Daxter fan growing up, so he had pretty much all the games, and we used to play 2 a lot. 2 was the game with like the vehicles in the future, right?
Yeah, 2 basically went. So the first game was like a collectathon. The second game was very different. It was a lot edgier and darker. It had a more involved story, and it basically brought Jak and Daxter into the future in like a city. And it sort of played like GTA in a way, where it's like there's
Jak
an
and Daxter
overworld that
fast
you
forward.
drive around in, and there's missions that you do.
Right.
So yeah, that was definitely the one you played then. Yeah, because Jak 3 is similar to Jak 2, except you're mostly in a desert.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember Jak 2 was the one I had the most experience with, because I remember like me and my cousin crashed a car into like buildings and all that, and we would just sneak around through buildings and all that. That was a really fun game though. But if I had to rank them all, definitely, I would say probably Ratchet first, Jak second, and Sly third. But I have like a good attachment with all 3 of them. So like
I like all 3. It's just
I wouldn't put them all above each other. I would just rank their games differently. But it's cool too, because the communities for these games are still really strong today. Funny enough, like I still see a lot of Sly Cooper fan art, like brand new ones, like today. So
I feel like
really cool.
the fandoms for all 3 like intersect a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, to the point where I like I said, as a kid, I thought they were all in the same universe.
Me
At
too.
one point.
They may as well be, yeah. Just like
But,
different parts of the galaxy, I guess.
It kind of sucks though, because if for now it seems like all 3 series are on indefinite hiatus. I mean, Jak and Daxter is probably dead at this point. The last game that came out for that was just a collection of the first 3 games, and that's it. And because Naughty Dog doesn't seem like they're gonna make any new games anymore, because they've moved on to more like realistic games.
Uncharted.
Sly Cooper, the original devs, I forgot. I think it was Sucker Punch. They moved on to do Infamous, and another company did the 4th game, which apparently was okay, but it wasn't as good as like the Sucker Punch ones.
Yeah.
And ever since that 4th game, Thieves in Time was what it was called. That series has also just kind of been in limbo. And with Ratchet and Clank, that was definitely the one that kept being supported the most, because there was a whole future saga on PS3 and all that. But the last game released for Ratchet and Clank was the PS4 one. That was like a reimagining of the first game that tied in with the movie. And there's been nothing since, which kind of upsets me that all 3 series are either dead or in indefinite hiatus right now.
Which really sucks because they were really good.
They were like three of the biggest series on PS2, so it's kind of crazy that they are more or less just gone.
I'll say, yeah.
I love that there was actually a comic book for Sly. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, there was there was comic books, I think, for all three, as a matter of fact. I remember seeing a Ratchet and Clank comic out there somewhere.
I was just looking right now the history of the PlayStation, and I just remembered that I'm looking over at mine right now, and I'm seeing, oh my god, that the memory cards were only like 8 megabytes.
Yeah, remember?
Could you imagine having an 8 megabyte memory card now? What can you put
You'd
on
be
there?
able to
One
store like
song?
2 save games, and that's it.
Or not even, maybe just one song, and that's it.
Bro, 8 megabytes is nothing in today's world.
It's crazy though, because I remember back when those games were new, and I'm like, yo, graphics can't get any better than this.
Yes.
No going past this. Like, as a kid, I'm like, this is it. We've hit the peak.
The peak of gaming.
We've done it. Actually, I remember because I used to buy a lot of shovelware. I wouldn't get a lot of main series games. It would be really like a lot of shovelware.
I think a lot of us bought a lot of shovelware as a kid.
And just because
you mean like movie tie-in games?
Yeah, especially that, and I'm particularly going to talk about Ray's favorite movie, the Polar Express.
Oh my god.
Wow.
We already talked about this on a past episode, but go ahead.
I'm sure, but yeah, no, it's funny because the reason I bring it up is because I was looking on this page and they were like, oh yeah, the PlayStation iToy had come out, and I was like, oh my god, I remember that. And I remember I still haven't gotten past that level in the Polar Express game because I can't play the rest of the game until I get the goddamn toy. And
so like I get that it's a movie tie-in game, so like obviously it's not supposed to be like, a really good ass game or anything.
Right.
But I mean, it's
no, that's bullshit. Movie tie-in games could be good. I don't know why they just don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. But like, I'm just saying though, like, it's still really fucking stupid that they required you to have this peripheral that you might not have. And I know most people didn't have the iToy.
Game 3/4 of the game you can get through without having that toy. Yeah. And you just don't need it. And then after that, all of a sudden it says, please plug in the PlayStation iToy to continue the game. And I'm like,
wow. That reminds me, there was a...
They should either let you... Yeah, sorry. I'm like, they should either let you complete the level with a controller or just let you skip it, like, with that Call of Duty level. Because, like...
Oh my god.
Because like, not everyone owns the iToy. Like, I remember everyone I knew, like, owned a PS2, and only one of those people owned the iToy.
No one who had a PS iToy.
That level.
I literally knew
they were so expensive back then. Because it was like $70, and the only way to get it
cheap-ass
was if you bought that skiing game. Skateboard? Well, no, it was a snowboarding game. It was a snowboarding game. That was the only way you got it. The only way to get the iToy at that time was to buy
the original Kinect
packaged with that snowboarding game.
I remember there was a Nickelodeon iToy game.
There probably was.
The thing is, like, back then, it was just like how you got the Wii Voice. The only way to get it before it came out separately, the Wii Speak, right? The only way for you to get it separately after it came out is if you got the Animal Crossing game. And I remember I went out and bought the goddamn Animal Crossing game. The only reason I bought that Animal Crossing game
was for the Wii Speak.
Was for that Wii Speak because
I was thinking the same thing, but I'm like, damn, like other games didn't end up supporting it.
Exactly.
So I just looked it up, and Ray, you're right. Nicktoons Movin' was an iToy.
Oh my god!
I knew my memory served me right.
I remember I used to talk to a lot of my friends at the time who had a Wii, and we all just kind of talked about anything like school and stuff like that. When I first got my Wii, and we were like, they got a Wii Speak, I got a Wii Speak. We were all just talking. It was so fun. And I rarely touched Animal Crossing. I played it a few times because that was the whole gimmick about that game, is that you could use the Wii Speak in your village. It was very. I mean, I didn't see much of anything after that, and that's why
for the fucking Wii, that was revolutionary.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Kinect came out, and you had like,
when's the iToy coming
Skype
back? Can we bring that back?
iToy for PS5.
PS5.
It comes bundled on the console.
It
Did
comes
they come out
bundled with
with a
Nicktoons
camera?
moving.
Dude's moving PS5.
Did they come out with a camera for the PS4?
They did actually, yeah, they did. I remember because there's a built-in like app/game on PlayStation 4 called Playroom that requires.
The
that
Playroom.
Yeah, I don't fucking have it, but yeah.
Remember when we fucking talked about Uno and like how that whole thing like just
Oh
with
yeah,
the people turning on their webcam and
and showing their penises. Yeah.
It was really weird, like back then, because I remember, like, especially with the Kinect, like, I think they tried to do some sort of like random, like, you could talk to anybody kind of thing, and it was
you
just
could
like
talk to anyone.
it was very like, I think it was hit really hard immediately because people were like, no, there are kids that play with this system.
Nowadays, and probably even just back then, that's a recipe waiting to happen. Like, a recipe of disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll buy the iToy and I'll finally finish Polar Express, but
One day.
I mean, I'm sure. How much is it on eBay? It's probably cheap.
Just so you can have like that closure. Well, I mean, to be fair, like
I mean, I know how.
I always did want to beat that final boss in Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. So
it's $7, guys.
Oh, it's $7. So this thing used to be $40. Now it's $7.
And if you bought it with the snowboarding game, it used to be $70.
Yeah, games back then were pretty fucking expensive. It's like buying crack, basically.
I mean, and nowadays, I mean, because of
PS2,
because of minimum wage, like, you know, you work 4 or 5 hours.
A gen before that, or 2 gens before that, like on SNES and shit, games were even more expensive if they had
they
enhancement chips.
No, yeah.
Like Mega Man X2 and X3 were way more expensive than the first X game because they had that chip that Star Fox used.
Oh, the Super FX chip?
Yeah, that chip. So the game was like $70, and I'm like, good lord.
Advanced graphics, guys. It doesn't get any better than this.
Yo.
So speaking of, Lawrence, you said that that if what's that movie? Polar Express. You said that game you couldn't beat it because you didn't have the PlayStation iToy?
Yeah. You literally can't move it on in the game. It says, please plug in the PlayStation iToy to continue the game. And if
did it even say on the box?
I don't even hold on. I can go get it.
He's actually gonna look.
Go ahead.
Because I feel like legitimately, if it's not printed on the box, then you probably might have like a case to like, you know, have their like, you know.
I don't think he can sue the devs.
He's not gonna sue them, obviously. It's way too fucking late anyway. But
Lawrence, get him.
Get him. But I'm like, I mean, he can have an actual point to all this too. Like, I mean, he has a point already, but I'm like, if it's not advertised on, yeah, that's actual bullshit. Because they should have said like requires PlayStation iToy to complete. And it's also stupid that it's only for one level in the game, while the rest of the game you could complete normally.
That's so he got far in the game. It's just that at a certain point they require.
You have to plug in the iToy for some reason.
That's crazy. Lawrence, are you still there? Oh wait, he's actually looking. Oh my god,
looking it up.
All right, well, because I wanted to mention, that reminded me of 2 things actually. There was a Rainbow Six game on Xbox 360 that utilized the Xbox camera, and I remember there was one achievement in the game that required you to like make a face for your soldier with the Xbox camera. So if you were really into like 100%ing the games and getting achievements, you would have to buy a shitty ass peripheral just to get one achievement.
I found it.
Wait, so okay, what does it say?
It doesn't say it.
Oh, you have a case there.
It just said it on the back. It says on the back in really small lettering. iToy USB camera enhanced.
Like a small asterisk, like in those SpongeBob.
Enhanced, like, aka, you need it.
In fact, there is a picture. There is a fucking picture of that game. That is the only way I was through that mini game is picture on the back of the box.
Lawrence,
You should have read that back of the box then. It's actually your fault.
Lawrence,
No,
is
but
it like that
the thing is,
SpongeBob
it says-
episode with like bubble baths and the menu is like, we'll charge refunds or whatever it was?
It
And then
says
Mr. Krabs was like, oh yeah,
see,
can we talk about this?
it says USB camera enhanced, but it doesn't say it's required. It doesn't even say it on the box on the front of the box.
No.
It just says on the back.
If you think about it, it enhances the end of the game, as in like you need it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah. Hold
It
on.
enhances the end of the game by making it exist.
Making it exist.
As you guys can take a look, it's actually in the chat. Right?
Good lord, I can't believe you bought this.
The boy and the conductor, THQ.
That is.
I want to know, like, so all these devs that worked on these like shovelware games, where are they nowadays? Like,
what did
like,
he do?
what do they think about what they've done?
Have they moved
They've
on?
done a sin on humanity.
One of three things happened. Either they moved on with life, they're working on better projects, or they're not alive anymore.
It's weird too, because every once in a blue moon, there's a movie tie-in game that's either not that bad or actually pretty good. Or
Yeah,
sometimes you
right.
get cases like the iRobot. No, not iRobot. What's that animated film
Robots.
by Robots?
Yeah.
There
That
was a
was a
fucking
really good game.
No, okay, so I don't know about the game, but I remember hearing that apparently the GBA version of the game had really good music. And I looked it up and I'm like,
Probably.
oh my god, it actually does have good music. What the hell?
I had the GBA version, but I definitely have the PS2 version of that game, and it's I can confirm it was a really good game. It is actually like there are like linear levels that you play, and it is actually a really good graphics and everything. For a movie game, I mean, it's really good.
Really good, man. Fucking fuck Spider-Man
Really
PS4.
good.
Buy robots for PS2.
I mean, hey man, Rodney.
Rated E
Great.
for everyone.
Wait, no, I think it was E10.
As in everyone should play it.
Wait, do you guys remember like growing up as a kid? You just like remembered when certain games were E10, you felt like a little bit of a badass because like, haha, E10, huh?
No, I never once felt
Oh
that. but
yeah.
That was me. That was actually me. I was like, wow, E10. I wonder what makes this.
Wow,
E10.
what a freaking like what an edgy bro there, man, playing E10 games. Freaking
Ooh, yeah.
motorcycle game material right there.
Yo, wait,
E10,
Lawrence.
oh.
Lawrence,
I never once thought that. Okay. I might have
What-
thought that for like teen-rated games when I was a kid,
Lawrence,
but not
what
E10.
was- What was Shadow the Hedgehog rated?
I think it was rated
It's
T.
teen.
Was it rated T? All right.
I think
Let me
so.
see. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
I-
So
I think it might have been T because of the language, but yeah.
about Polar
Yeah, because they do
Express.
swear in that game.
You're
In a
going to
dumb
hell,
way.
Doctor.
So
Where's the damn
this,
word chaos?
if you're
Oh
looking
no,
at-
it's everyone 10 and up.
Wow.
Oh shit! Really?
So okay, I think what happened was it was originally supposed to be teen, like rated
I
T
think
for
in some
teen, but
countries
then
it
they
was
like
actually teen.
neutered some stuff, and then it became everyone 10 and up. I'm still shocked though because they straight up swear in that game. They say,
They say
"Damn."
like he says like Dr. Eggman should go to hell, and it's like we're damn fourth Chaos Emerald.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
You're
I feel
going
like
to hell,
I feel
Doctor.
like at some point, I feel like in some places it was actually like a teen rating.
No, it wasn't.
Not here in the U.S. Overseas.
I mean, I
Fucking
know
hell
that like
hell
PAL regions
exists
have
as a
something
concept
different.
in
They have like P
Sonic.
and stuff, but I'm pretty sure in all regions you didn't need to be 13.
Yeah.
That's teenage years.
Yeah, but they probably just define. Yeah, they probably just define it differently.
Ow,
But
the
hey.
Edge, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
So, if you guys look at this cover for the Polar Express,
Don't.
I mean,
Why are you
Wait,
still
Eric,
on
what,
this?
what were you gonna say? Don't.
I think okay. So it says yes.
It's
iToy
ridiculous.
USB camera enhanced, and then it has that little red thing at the bottom that says iToy USB camera for PS2, right?
Okay.
And then
Right.
that picture, you see that picture where it says play rhythm games. That is the infamous game that I was about to
Scene
play.
game, yeah.
Play rhythm games.
That is the infamous game that minigame that I could not play and therefore could not continue in the game because I couldn't play this goddamn
I
dancing
love that this
minigame.
fucking stupid ass movie tying game haunts you to this day. Jesus Christ. How old are you?
22.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
I
He's
like
gonna
that.
be like in his 50s talking to his grandkids. Man, back in the day I had that Polar Express game. I couldn't beat it. Don't be like me, kids.
It's like, if you want a peripheral, I'll buy it for you.
I like that, because there were some dance numbers in the Polar Express movie, but there was definitely no emphasis on based movements in the movie. So I'm wondering, like, where the fuck does this minigame come from?
Yeah, seriously. What
How
the
do you
hell is the
even
point
make
of
a
this?
game based on a movie like that? I could understand it if it's like an action movie or something, or like an adventure movie.
It
But
was
fucking
like
Polar
both.
Express?
It was, so I think it's just a bunch of mini games together.
Are you
That's really what-
serious? So
Yeah.
it's like bootlegged Mario Party?
Polar
Pretty much,
Express
yeah.
Party.
Sonic Shuffle? I apologize.
I mean, if
Turns
you-
out there's a party game way worse than you.
I mean, if you
Called Polar Express on PS2.
if you actually look at the back of this game, there is that second picture is actually one of the mini games where you control the train and you help it pick up passengers.
Winner
Zelda
gets to
Spirit
see Santa.
Tracks. Stay back.
The winner gets the first gift of Christmas.
Man, the studio who made that movie closed down.
Dude, that's a shame.
THQ, yeah.
If you remember, like, how that movie looked, though, like, it was impressive for its time.
I mean, yeah, it's impressive. They also did that Christmas Carol movie with Jim Carrey, where he did
Yeah,
like,
the
all the
Disney
voices
produced-
practically.
I remember that.
And
That was
then they
good.
made Mars Needs Moms, which was a huge bomb.
Fucking Mars
and
Needs
that
Moms.
closed
That,
their studio.
yeah, that explains it. I remember hearing about this.
Did you see that movie?
I did not see it, but I heard
So,
all about it from
okay,
Rubber
that
Taxi.
movie, I saw it. I remember a few things. The Martians had ass, so I'm like, oh wow, some horny dude animated this movie for sure. Because like
Oh my
they
God.
were thick. I'm not kidding. And two, there are some surprisingly really dark and really like messed up things in that movie. Because what causes the rift between the main kid and his mom at the beginning, he's awake, he doesn't want to go to bed, and his mom's just telling him to please go to bed, and he eventually does, and then she's like, God, I wish you would just listen to me, and then he flat out says, well, I wish I had a different mom. And I'm like,
Jesus
what
Christ.
the fuck? Jesus. That's
Yeah,
so
I
messed
remember-
up. Like, it even goes on to her face, and she's, like, holding back tears. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? And
Yeah, I
then later
remember.
on in the movie, so I don't know if you remember the trailers where they showed off, like, an astronaut living on Mars or some shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
You find out that he also had his mom taken away from him by the Martians, and he followed her like the main kid in the movie when he was young, but he couldn't
Bro.
save her. So they literally show him as a kid watching his mom die, more or less.
Bro.
And I'm like, and it's told, it's not comedic at all, this backstory. Like, it's told super straight how like this kid lost his mother, and I'm like, what the fuck? How is this a kid's movie? Jesus Christ. If I saw that as a kid, it would have scarred me. Honestly. Like, that movie, I can believe that it, you know, bombed.
This
all I'm
sounds
gonna say.
so unreal for like a Disney original film.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. Like, just from the kid saying, I wish I had a different mom, like, I felt that. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah,
as a
like-
kid, I don't think I would have ever said that.
Right.
Like, that's messed up. I remember,
Dude,
it's funny, I watched this in DR. I saw the Spanish version.
Sorry.
And I think my mom was with me. And I don't know how she reacted to that movie. I wish I could remember, because she was watching it with me.
It's probably
but
like
yeah.
a different reaction from like Coco. or
Llamo
whatever.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Alright, I'm talking
Yeah.
about Mars Needs Moms in Spanish. And this guy's mentioning Scrooge.
Yo, but like, yeah, I haven't seen this movie, but I saw a review of it from Rebel Taxi, also known as Pan Pizza. He talked about the movie, I think, twice on his channel, one time I think for like a top.
Did he
10
mention
list.
the shit I mentioned?
He mentioned the shit you mentioned. So when you brought up the whole thing that he said to his mom, I remembered like, oh yeah, I fucking remember that scene.
Like, dude, it's so messed up.
I can't believe
Like, the
it
mom
didn't-
looks like she's about to cry, and I'm like, Jesus.
I can't believe it didn't even make any of its budget back.
Yeah, it bombed.
I wonder
so
why.
hard.
39. It made 39 million, but its budget was 150 million dollars. My lord.
Christ.
Yeah, after that, I'm not surprised that studio shut down. But yeah, that's my story of my shock and my utter shock at watching that movie in DR, in Spanish.
Hola, me llamo Milo.
Alright, you need to stop.
Jesus. Alright.
Racist. But, so, Lawrence, I wanted to mention, I told Ray this already, but your whole Polar Express iToy story reminded me of two things. There was a Rainbow Six game on Xbox that required the Xbox camera for one of the achievements. And I remember a lot of my friends were into, like, achievements when we were young.
Yeah.
And so they're like, this is bullshit. I have to buy a stupid-ass camera just to get one achievement? And I was like, thank God I didn't buy that game then. And I remember there was you know that SpongeBob movie, the second one? Like, what's it called again?
The Sponge Out of Water?
Yeah,
Right.
so there was a movie tie-in game for that game on, like, Xbox 360. And I remember seeing a video about it, and the guy told me that, like, this game is bullshit because to get the collectibles, you literally need 4 controllers. And I'm
What
like,
the
what?
fuck?
What?
Bruh.
And he showed it in the game. It's like, yeah, there are some collectibles that you can't get unless you have multiple people playing with you. It's like,
Not
and this
everyone's
was
gonna have
this
that.
was by Activision too.
and I'm like, what?
Oh
That's
fucking of
SpongeBob
course.
insane.
SpongeBob Hero Pants.
Yeah. It might have only been just 2 controllers, but still, that's kind of a lot to ask for a kid to have, like, multiple controllers with you.
Yo, this came out on Vita.
Yo, let's play it.
And apparently it was nominated for Kids' Choice Award for favorite
Alright.
video game.
Well, yeah, that's the Kids' Choice Awards. I don't know if that counts. You're not going to see, like, BioShock on the Kids' Choice Awards, so...
I actually linked in the chat.
Imagine BioShock with KCAs.
I linked in the chat
Silent
the,
Hill on Kids' Choice Awards.
the Wikipedia article for the Polar Express game.
Yeah, thanks. I'm totally aware of that.
Apparently, it was unveiled at E3. It was
The game
unveiled.
with very disturbing racism is the Kids' Choice Award winner.
As the clip that they show.
So apparently THQ unveiled the Polar Express game at E3 2000.
They unveiled it at
Kidding me?
E3.
Really?
I'm serious.
Polar Express was at E3?
Yeah.
No wonder that event is canceled this year.
Oh my god. They canceled it because they remembered Polar Express.
They remember they featured Polar Express and they're like, wow,
we can't let
fucked
this
up.
happen ever again.
The genre is considered action adventure platforming.
Yo, wait, you said THQ made it. What if they make
They
the Polar
published it,
Express
yeah.
rehydrated?
Is that why THQ shut down? Because of the Polar Express?
No, Nordic bought them.
Well, no, but
Imagine-
THQ, the company, did shut down. And
Wait,
all
really?
their
I thought they were
all
bought.
their Yeah, idiot! All their franchises got sold off, remember?
Oh wow.
That's why 2K has WWE now.
Right. Now I remember. Apparently, that
but
SpongeBob game you were talking about earlier, that was a SpongeBob game that Activision made
I'm not surprised.
before the rights had expired.
When THQ, didn't have the license anymore.
I love that Lawrence didn't remember that THQ was a company that went under. So what I'm learning
That
in the
was a
past few
big
days
thing.
is that no, what I'm learning in the past few days is that Lawrence doesn't remember anything when it comes to video games. So, Grade, you know what I'm talking about, right? Our freaking conversation in our DMs where we were talking about Sonic and we mentioned the Death Egg, and Lawrence was like, "Bruh, really? The Death Egg?" And we're like, "Yeah, idiot. It's been in the games for like forever at this point.
It was in the
You
classic
literally played a
games.
game that had it." And he's like, "I don't remember." And then we showed him like every game it's been in, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I don't remember." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
It's like the main zone." I almost said act zone in like Sonic 2, for example. and it's in Sonic Forces. Like, it's literally
was such
early
a
in
big
Sonic
deal.
Forces. At that, and he's like,
It
"Yeah,
was
Sonic
such a big
Forces."
deal.
At that, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't remember."
Dude, whenever
I'm
the
like,
Death Egg
so at
shows
this
up, it's a
point,
big fucking deal.
I'm convinced that Lawrence has the memory of a goldfish when it comes to games. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, next week he's like, "Tails, who's that?"
Who's Tails? Not kidding.
Yo, they gave Shadow his own game?
Yo,
Shadow has his own game. What?
yo. By the way, when Sonic movie comes out, we need to do a
Sonic movie came out already.
Yo.
It's in February.
I mean, oh my god, no.
When it comes out on like digital?
On digital, because especially I think it's probably gonna come out much sooner than we imagine.
I mean,
Probably.
yeah, probably.
But yeah,
we should definitely do like a
review
watch
of that.
party. We should do a watch party and then a review.
I think we can do like a commentary or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Yo,
Either
if they
one.
show Tails or Amy or Knuckles, that'd be awesome.
Dude, I still say like if they make a sequel movie and Knuckles shows up in that, I still want Dwayne The Rock Johnson to voice Knuckles. Like he's
Yo,
the
he would
only,
so work as Knuckles. He
He's
really
the-
would.
only celebrity voice actor I would so endorse to come in and play that character.
I
Like,
remember. So you
for-
remember when Sonic Mania got announced, and it was at like that big, like Sonic event, and I remember like
Yeah.
I saw a video of like the audience reaction to it, and they were going nuts. But and it was kind of funny. Like they were going nuts at like really small things. Like
Yeah.
Sonic goes up a ramp. Like wow. But I remember like when they showed off 3 playable characters, like Sonic got a lot of applause, Tails was like silent, and then everyone exploded at Knuckles. Which was
Knuckles.
hilarious to me.
And Knuckles!
And
God.
Knuckles.
That was a whole thing.
So, I really I think what's funny is after looking at the Wikipedia or the wiki page for the Death Egg is that I've played more games that have the Death Egg than I actually remember.
Sonic, who's that?
Like
They made a
apparently it was
competitor to
in
Mario?
Sonic Battle, and I remember playing through most of Sonic Battle.
I didn't even play Sonic Battle. How the fuck do you not remember the Death Egg then?
I don't even know, man. I only like Sonic Battle because I thought it was a Smash thing, to be honest.
I mean, it
This
was
was
like an
before
arena
Smash.
fighter, but like
Yeah,
with
it was an
Sonic.
arena fighter. I do want to play Generations at some point. I'm looking at the pictures from
Generations is a
It
great
looks
game.
So good.
Great game. Still bizarre to me that they considered a Dreamcast era Sonic. I'm like, oh man, what an era. 3 games.
Was it Sonic CD? Right? No, that was.
No!
No!
Oh my god!
That was for the Sega
Are you
CD.
kidding me? Lawrence.
No, I mean like what system?
It was on a CD, yes, but it was not Sonic CD. If that's
no,
what
no,
you're
no, no, no.
insinuating.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It was
I
the
meant, like-
Sega
I
CD,
meant, like,
bro.
Yeah,
Bro.
that Sega CD. That's what
Sonic
I
CD
meant.
was part of the classic era.
Right? No. I meant like what system it came out on.
Sonic CD?
No, like it. Never mind. But anyways, it
No,
was.
wait. No, we're going back to this, Lawrence. What was the question? What was the question?
No, I'm saying like what system did those games?
Explain that. What game are you
Which
talking
games?
about?
The 3 games that you were.
The 3 CD?
Wait. What continue? What
The
games?
3 games that you just said.
So
What,
Sonic
the
CD.
Dreamcast era?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sonic Adventure 1, 2, and then Heroes.
Okay.
which is
Wait,
technically
Heroes came on the Dreamcast?
Well, no, but it's part of the Dreamcast era officially.
Oh. Okay.
yeah, and
It
plus
came
like
out
you know
on
the-
GameCube, PS2,
thing
and
with-
Xbox.
the thing with Generations 2 is that they needed 3 worlds per era to represent that particular section. So like they had
Right.
no other choice really, and plus it was so close to like the Dreamcast era anyway, because that was like when it was on its way out and they started going multi-console. So it may as well just be there.
It's weird to me that they even considered Dreamcast like having 3 Sonics in that game, because I'm like, I get classic and modern, especially because they look different.
Yeah,
'cause,
Dreamcast
you know,
Sonic I think was the thing planned for that originally. Yeah,
yeah,
you're
it was planned, and I'm like, but Dreamcast and modern Sonic look the same. Like, how would we even
like
distinguish?
modern Sonic is literally that Sonic.
Yeah, it's the same Sonic.
It would be so weird to have like a middle ground Sonic.
Like, is he just lower poly
Yes.
than modern Sonic? That would be kind of cool if they
Yeah.
did that, admittedly. But
He's like shorter, yeah.
yeah, that's weird to me.
Apparently right now, because the other day we were all talking about the that Sonic Humble Bundle that we all missed out on, except for Ray. Apparently.
Yeah, I
took
kind of
advantage
wish
of the
I
last
jumped on that because I've been after playing Sonic Forces, a thoroughly average game at best. I kind of want to play some of the other ones. that
Yeah,
like more.
I jumped on that as soon as I saw it because like I had the money for it at the time, and I was like, all right, there's not if there is, there won't be another opportunity like this for a long time because you're getting a really good deal. So I'm just gonna download this, and even if my PC can't run most of these, I'll still have them in my library.
I feel like
when the day comes,
your PC will probably be able to run
it'll probably
most,
A good amount
most
of
of them
them.
just fine.
Yeah.
What games were in that bundle?
Let me look at it right now. I'm gonna pull up Steam.
Ooh. The one of the Humble Bundles on right now is a
Did
Humble
you say
Bundle.
FIFA?
No.
FIFA. Going back to our earlier conversation.
FIFA 2011 to 2019.
Let's go.
One of the Humble Bundles that's right now Fairy Tale Humble. It's actually
Fairy
really
Tale?
nice. There's no game. It's all
What?
like the manga, but like
Oh,
what,
yeah,
you
because
get
they
the-
do like manga and other stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Nice.
So I might
Yeah,
might
they
actually
do book bundles and shit like that.
I might take part in this because you
Oh,
can
there's
get
a
the
there's a
entire
Capcom
manga.
mega bundle
Yeah. I
that has a
was
lot
looking
of
at that
good
earlier.
stuff actually. So I'd say hop on if anyone's interested.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
Also,
good stuff on there too.
Semi-related, but I'm looking at a post that my friend made just now, and Tomb Raider 2013 is free right now on Steam as of this recording. So I don't
that's
know how
cool.
long. I don't know how long that'll be, but pick that up while you guys can.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm glad that there's a lot of services that are free games during the what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good that like even though I have a huge backlog already, like I can
Yeah, you
know,
should not
get
buy
some
games
stuff.
right now. Is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
absolutely. I actually haven't bought any games as of recently. What was the last game I bought?
As soon as SpongeBob comes out on Switch, he's gonna buy that.
Battle
one.
for Bikini Bottom. Rehydrated.
Oninaki, that was the last from when we went. That was the last game I bought. When we went to J&L and they said that they only have like what 1,000 or something like that of that game, and because they got it from Japan. Turns out actually it was true, and that game is now only digital on the market, the eShop right now. So it's pretty
Damn.
good. Yeah, now it's only like you have to pay like at least I think like $80 or something like that to get the game physical. So I say it was a good deal.
Okay.
You guys came in at the right time.
Yeah, no, he gave us a good deal, and it was really good. Also, there is a Fairy Tale game that is coming to Switch.
Oh yeah,
It
they're
is-
making. Is it an RPG?
I think so.
That makes
wow.
sense for the series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looks, I mean,
Yeah, you're looking forward to very specific things, I'm sure.
Oh my god.
um, but I will. On a real note, I will. I think I'm definitely gonna get the Fairy Tale Humble Bundle. It's only $20, and you get the entire Fairy Tale.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of good stuff in the Capcom bundle. I know you don't like Mega Man, but
Oh my
there's
god!
like Resident Evil and other stuff.
There is actually. I did
Also,
look.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate Edition is like really cheap on Steam right now. Too like you can get it
Lawrence,
for
why do you hate Mega Man?
$7.
I don't hate Mega Man.
Oh my god.
Mega Man 11 is you get it for free. Wow. Well, not
Yeah,
for
if
free.
you pay
but,
20 or more.
yeah, so not free, but you know, good bundle.
Here you go. Just free.
But you pay $1, you can get the Legacy Collection.
Yeah, for the
Like, that's
classics.
really-
The first
yeah, that's
Legacy
really
collection
good.
for the classics.
I
which is
actually
first
have
6
I think I have the Legacy Edition, the Legacy Collection on Wii U because I remember I bought it I got the amiibo with that.
Damn, so you don't you don't hate I almost said Sonic. You don't hate Mega Man after all.
I don't. I love Mega Man. I just haven't had that
What
much.
games have you
like-
played?
I've only like
Oh,
I
he
haven't.
stayed
Oh my
silent.
god!
Oh.
I've played a good chunk of the games. I just haven't like finished them. But I
I'm that
obviously
bitch that cares about Mega Man lore, so that's why I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah, that's fine. I actually did play the 64 one. Mega Man 64.
That was actually Mega Man Legends 1. Why they changed the title.
Was that what it was called? Because I just
Well,
had the emulator.
No. It was called Mega Man 64, but that game was just a port of Mega Man Legends 1 from the PS1.
Right. I think I played the one on Game Boy Advance. Was that Mega Man
Game Boy
X?
Advance? Zero or Battle Network?
It might be one of those.
Might have been Battle Network.
It was an RPG?
Yes.
Then it was Battle
Network.
It was it was Battle Network. Now that I'm looking back at it. Wow, $39 for a used version of the physical game.
So in case anyone was unaware of why this Mega Man joke between me and Lawrence, I remember this. We were at Book Off, and I was showing off all the Mega Man games I saw on the shelf, and then Lawrence out of nowhere was like, "Why the fuck are you talking about Mega Man so much?" And I was so shocked, like, sorry, damn. I just shut up there.
I promise it sounded more aggressive than it was, but it was not meant to be that aggressive.
Like, Ray, you remember, right?
Yeah, I remember.
It was just funny.
I was stunned, like, geez, alright.
No, so what happened is that we were the reason why all of this happened is because throughout the entire day he was talking about it, and I was curious. I was honestly curious.
Well, look, Lawrence, you gotta understand. What are you laughing at? I didn't even say anything yet. What the hell?
Go ahead.
This guy's laughing at anything I say at this point. But the thing with stop laughing. The thing with me is that if it's been a while since I played a game of a series or franchise that I really like, and what happens 99% of the time, if I play a new game after not having played a new game for years, I just fucking go full on. That's all I talk about for a while. That's all I'm looking up on the internet now, and that's all I'm watching on YouTube now. Like, I just go full on like fanboy mode. So with Mega Man, I've always loved Mega Man, but I haven't played it in a million years. But at that time, I was playing the Legacy collections for the Classic series because Mega Man 11 was coming out, so I was catching myself up to speed and replaying them, which is why I was talking about it a lot that day. And like recently, I was playing Sonic Forces, so I've been talking about Sonic a lot because I also really like Sonic, but I haven't played Sonic in a million years outside of Mania.
Right.
Because everyone played Mania when it came out. So yeah, there you go. That's why if you see me talking a lot about a certain franchise or whatever, it's probably because it's on my mind because I've been playing it. So yeah, there you go.
No, I understand. I understand. At the time, I was just like, wow, really got into Mega Man these days.
It's funny because he said the same thing in our group chat for when I was talking about Sonic. Like, he mentioned that he would always come back to me and Ray talking about Sonic lately, and I'm like, well, yeah, because that's what I've been playing.
And hey, I mean, look, I support. I don't have a problem with it. We were actually just talking the other day that his favorite games I still haven't played yet.
For what?
For your Sonic games. Your favorite Sonic games. And it's funny because the ones I really want to play are the ones that are his favorite. I want to play Generations. I only play a little bit of Color. Yeah, Adventure 2, of course, because I loved Adventure 1. So I really want. I mean, obviously, I already know the plot of Adventure 2, but I really want to play.
That
really
fucking final battle with Live and Learn playing is still magical to this day. I don't care what anyone says. Sonic Adventure 2 is fucking awesome. I don't care what anyone says. Sorry, Johnny. I don't care about your review. Still awesome to me.
I fucking love that song though.
Yeah, that song is amazing.
I played a little bit of Colors.
I love you, Johnny, but
I really wanna play Colors more.
Colors is alright.
Yeah, I heard it was alright.
I feel like I might like it less if I replay it because I'm not gonna lie, at this point, at least for me, I really don't like the lol meme self-aware humor that the Sonic franchise has been in for a while. And I feel like Colors was the beginning of that.
Because they got a new writing team, like the
they got like the guys who wrote Happy Tree Friends for Colors. and they've been the main writers for a while.
For the time, for like both colors and generations, it was okay, but like it definitely doesn't match the storytelling that games like SA2 and I guess by extension like games like Shadow the Hedgehog and all that. Like I'm not looking for a super serious Sonic story, but
I want a story. It doesn't have to be Final Fantasy, obviously.
Right.
Sonic 06 tried that and it didn't work. But I want Sonic to actually have some self-integrity for once.
Like,
because it feels like it hasn't had that for a while.
The thing is that the series can still be silly and goofy because we're not supposed to take any of this stuff seriously. And it can also,
Nah, man, I cried when Shadow died. What are you talking about?
It can also buckle down, and it can take itself like, in a directions like, all right,
I don't mind a Sonic story that actually is more serious. I don't know why people just scoff at the idea. It's like, oh man, anthropomorphic characters. That means we can't do it. It's like, why?
What I'm trying to say is like, we can have a serious story, but just don't go 06 levels of serious.
I mean, yeah, don't, like I said, 06 to me felt like they were trying to be Final Fantasy. Like,
you know what 06 felt
literally
like
looks like a bootlegged Final Fantasy character to me when I look at it.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know what 06 felt like in retrospect? It really, honestly, God, felt like a Sonic the Hedgehog novella.
Oh my god.
Like, in comparison to...
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, but like, compared to like something like SA2, where the story like it was a serious story, but it also felt like it existed in Sonic the Hedgehog.
I could totally see Sonic Adventure
felt like
1 and 2 existing.
It's funny because like I was about to say it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon, then I realized, oh wait, it was Sonic X.
Yeah, Sonic X adapted Sonic Adventure 2 at one point.
Pretty much.
But that's what I mean though, like it can totally like it can be like Sonic X. It can be like the IDW comics going on right now. Like they have some serious moments, but it's still fun and it's mature, I guess it's what I'm trying to say.
I don't even mind if it's more, I guess, lighthearted, because obviously like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it has a story. It's not dark and serious, but it's still a story. It takes itself somewhat seriously. With like the recent games.
It can be
like it feels super self-aware, where it's like, lol, Sonic sure has had a rocky road. Let's freaking, lol meme faces and stuff. Comedy, quits all the time.
The Sonic Boom cartoon was actually like, I mean, it did that a lot. It was also it was also just really, I thought it was pretty entertaining too.
It's an entertaining show, especially compared to like the video games. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, you get kind of like tired of the whole self-aware
I got tired of it really quick, personally. Like at first, I thought it was kind of funny, but then after the like 18th self-aware joke, I'm like, all right, can we just move on?
Can we do something with this show?
Can we do something like semi-serious? That's why I was kind of excited for Forces, because it looked like it might go back to like Sonic Adventure 2 level story. Because it looked like it was taking itself seriously. Then you play the game and it's like, nope, not really.
Bowling ball Sonic.
Okay, so I 100%ed that game. And I don't think it's awful. I feel like it's thoroughly average. But goddamn, the controls for classic Sonic, he feels like a bowling ball for one. His jump feels so stiff. He just sucks. He shouldn't have been in that game to begin with. I don't know why they shoehorned him in. With modern Sonic, his acceleration is insane. He goes from 0 to 100 in like milliseconds. So I died so many times just because he skidded off.
Yeah.
Just from me blinking. The Avatar stuff, I didn't think was too bad, personally. I thought those were, like, the best designed levels. Not amazing, but it wasn't... Like, it still had some of the same issues, but it was fine for me. Like, the Avatar stuff in general was probably my favorite part of it. The story was dumb and didn't make sense. Like, me and Ray talked about this. How they mentioned that classic Sonic is from another dimension, but in Generations, he was from the past. So it's like, okay, what happened to the continuity there?
Yeah, that
What continuity?
People, it's funny because I've been watching a lot of like I guess analysis videos of like the state of Sonic right now,
Yeah.
and that along with the whole like writing film like kind of thing, that was always one of the big criticisms that I always keep seeing, and like, I agree with it like wholeheartedly. Like I think the whole plot hole in Sonic Forces where they like I like to think it was probably like a continuity error or like a translation issue because like
Well, I imagine it's
we forget that classic Sonic is supposed to be from the past like they established before, like not from another dimension.
So see, the thing with me, I always thought that classic Sonic and modern Sonic were the same person. It's it's just the same Sonic. It's just one's younger. And that's what I sort of got from Generations. It's like, oh, it's Sonic from the past. Okay, cool. And now, and then Force is like, nah, he's just from another dimension. I'm like, what? It's weird.
They try too hard.
If you want to be technical, like
with Mania,
if you want to say like, oh yeah, you're from another dimension, that's like, because you know how in some shows or like movies or whatever, like like in Dragon Ball, like if they travel back in time, it creates a new universe, and you're not really traveling to the true past or whatever it is. So one could try to justify it as like, oh yeah, that's probably what they mean, but in my head, no, not really. I don't think they're that smart to like say
it's the same thing that we talked about in regards to that continuity error with the moon in Shadow the Hedgehog, where it's like they said, oh well, the moon just funny. Moved, so you're looking at the side that wasn't blown up, and I'm like, the moon doesn't the moon does not rotate. And I know the argument there is like, oh well, this is a fictional world. Maybe in this world the moon does rotate. I don't think they were thinking that. I thought they were trying to hide tail and be like, oh no, the moon moves, and they were just flat out wrong, like scientifically wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is just because I mentioned this to Eric before in the past, but like most games or fictional properties that try to base like their human world like off of like the real world, they usually stick to like real world like physics and mechanics and all that. Like, obviously there's differences in history depending on the universe that you're talking about, but for the most part, planets act the same. Like, the Earth rotates around the sun and all that, like it's supposed to in real life. And then, for some shows or some movies, it's stuff that you don't really think about. Like you would never think about it in shit like Terminator, because that's not the whole point of the series. Like the whole point of the series is the Terminator and
this
the humans trying to survive.
Does the moon rotate around the Earth? I need to know that.
Right. Who the fuck is gonna think about that?
Who's gonna be thinking about that during Terminator 2?
But for stuff for like Sonic, where it's like an expanded universe and there's like a ton of characters and a lot to see in Sonic's world or universe, yeah, maybe you would want to question it, like, how is the cosmology and the celestial objects, like, how do they function in that universe? And I'm like, if there's a human world there and it's based on the real world, I would assume it works like the real world. Like, there's no third party controlling it. I don't think the moon revolves around the Earth. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's weird. There was also that thing where Knuckles was like, Tails, after Sonic died, he lost it. And then the next cutscene, Tails is perfectly fine. He's just like, he doesn't seem crazy at all.
As it turns out, I think that was a mistranslation error.
Okay, I can believe that, honestly. Because there was another one where it's like, they find out that Sonic's alive, but that he's been tortured all this time by Eggman. Next cutscene, he's not a scratch on him. He's cracking jokes like nothing.
He's just chilling in the jail cell.
Like, he doesn't look tortured at all. So I'm like, okay, Ray's right. There has to have been translation issues for like at least those two things. The classic Sonic thing, I think that's just them being dumb and forgetting continuity. But yeah, story was dumb. Gameplay could have been a lot better. Because, I mean, there's literally moments in the game where you don't even have to touch the controller. Like, every double boost segment, you can just let go, and you'll win. All the time. You don't have to touch it at all. It's crazy. And, like, even music-wise, the game was kind of disappointing, because classic Sonic's music in that game is actually, like, awful. It's basically what people think Genesis soundtrack sounded like. As in, it just sounds like a cheap imitation of that era's music. And then with modern Sonic, it's just kind of forgettable. Avatar music was pretty good. I think for me, it's because they had a lot of vocals in the Avatar stage tracks, so I actually remembered them.
Yeah.
But the highlight for sure is definitely Infinite's theme. I gotta admit, Infinite's theme is fucking dope because it is the most edgy thing you will hear in a long time, and that's why I love it, because it is just pure. I mean, just look at the lyrics and you'll see what I'm saying. And even his boss battle music that doesn't have the vocals is pretty good too. Infinite was still a bit of a letdown though when you play the Episode Shadow DLC, because
Right.
I thought his backstory was gonna be kind of cool, because Infinite does seem kind of cool. And then
Right.
in the DLC, when you play it, it's just that Shadow beats him up, and he goes, "No, I'm not weak," and that's his backstory. It's like, okay,
It's his
so he literally
motivation.
just gets his ass kicked, and then he swears revenge because he doesn't want to be weak.
Fuck
Wow.
you, Shadow.
What a backstory. Okay,
Don't you
thanks.
love backstories, man?
So there is like I told this to Eric too, like there is an Archie comic, or at least a comic published by Archie that is supposed to tie into Forces as sort of a prequel. I should note that it's not entirely clear if it's exclusively Archie continuity or if it's meant to be tied into the games. But regardless, that is a thing that existed prior to Archie losing the Sonic license. So, I mean, if you guys want to look into that, that's a thing, but it's not explained in game. So,
Yeah, I remember you told me that like there was a discussion like, because apparently the IDW run has been pretty good. Like most people
It's
seem
really
to agree
good.
that it's like the most consistently good Sonic thing in a
Yeah.
long time.
Because the
And
continuity in that is supposed to bounce off of the games.
Yeah, and I'm
There's
like,
no more
that
of
sounds
like
cool.
the
I might
Archie
actually
stuff.
read them at one point because I need some good Sonic content at this point. Because Forces was a letdown. Who knows when the next game is even going to come out at this point? So I might read them. But I think I remember you saying that like people were debating is like, was it worth getting rid of characters like Sally? And when I heard that question, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
like who
For
cares?
sure.
I mean, all right, I won't say who cares, but like.
She's a classic character, but like ultimately,
she's a well-known character, but it's like it's not that big of a loss. I don't mind them doing new things, stuff.
right?
Like we don't need Sally in Sonic. It's fine. She had
And
her run.
She had her run in
TV
the
show.
comics.
So it's like
Yeah,
it's okay. It's we can move on.
and
I'm perfectly
Sonic
fine
fandom,
with like Archie characters not being there.
Right, and the Sonic fandom will always keep those characters alive through fan art and mods and all that. So, it's not like we're gonna forget about the character. And I mean, who knows? Because
Lawrence, Sally, who's that?
So the thing is that, so the offer for the Sonic IDW comics, Ian Flynn, great writer, follow a lot of his works. He said in the past that IDW is famous for, not just with, Sonic obviously, but other licenses they've gotten, like Transformers and all that. They're famous for bringing back older runs of previous comics and continuing or concluding them properly so that, they can give those stories a proper send-off if their original publishers like Marvel or Image or whoever didn't give them, a full run.
Yeah.
So, there's always that possibility that if there's interest, the Archie comics could come back to have a conclusion.
Well, I always thought that like a lot of characters literally can't come back because of everything that happened with Penders.
But I mean, it won't be part of IDW like the main line though. Like it'll be a separate like comic run from.
Well, yeah, but like in regards to like a lot of the cast from like the Archie run, wasn't a big reason why they won't come back because Penders owns them now after like the legal disputes?
Well, not characters like Sally or anyone who came from the 2 TV shows like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and
or
Sonic Sat-Am. Like those characters, those are off limits because Penders did not create them. They're like original.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
They're original to those shows, and they brought them in for the comic. But with the characters that Penders created exclusively for the comics, because of that stupid fucking lawsuit that he went through,
that he somehow won.
Yeah, those characters are off limits, and it's funny too because like long before IDW picked up the license, what happened in universe was that they basically had a Crisis on Infinite Earths type of situation happen. So there's this thing that happens in the Archie comics called the Genesis Wave, that came from this
Is
machine
it called that
Dr.
because of the console?
Exactly. It came from a machine that Dr. Eggman made that basically resets a universe to his liking. So what happened was that they brought in the whole Mega Man crossover, and that's how basically those two worlds come together, and how he and Dr. Wily team up. So
Oh yeah, that was
things
a thing.
with things with Sonic and Mega Man's worlds get screwy. I recommend reading those, by the way, because they're actually really well put together. They're also by Ian Flynn. And so by the end of it, they try to fix both universes. And what happens is that Mega Man's universe is safe, and his story continues as normal in the Archie comics. But for Sonic's side of things, it retconned a lot of shit. And so a lot of the Penders characters are all gone, and all the Sonic characters in that have no memory of them ever. But characters like Sally and all that, like, still technically exist.
It's like Link's Awakening.
Yeah. And then for a time, the Archie comics kept going. Like, Mega Man properly finished, but Sonic kept going for a while, and then I think it just ended on like on a cliffhanger. And then the license went over to IDW, and then they just decided to restart it from, just to be more in line with the games.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's for the best because, even though they fixed the Archie comics and they made them more enjoyable to read, like, in my personal opinion anyway, I think it's for the best because even if they picked it up then, a lot of people are going to be super fucking confused by, like, just jumping in.
Who
and
are these people?
Who are these people? Because even I enjoy reading the Archie comics time to time, especially like the Ian Flynn run. But the thing is that I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the newer characters, so, like, I want to get to like them, but I can't because then I have to backtrack to older issues. And unfortunately, some of those issues are written by Ken Penders, and I don't really like Ken Penders. So.
He is such a bad artist. God.
He is, honest to God.
Like, I really don't feel good criticizing people's art, especially if, like, they're, like, younger or newer, or, like, because obviously they can improve and all that. But with Penders, ooh, he never improved.
I'm
like,
sorry,
if
man,
there's like, if
good.
you made a graph of, like, quality with certain artists, like, it shoots up. Like, it starts off and it's like an upward trend. Like, look at Yuji Ukewa. I forgot how to pronounce his name, but, like, the main Sonic artist for a while until he got relegated to, like, small stuff.
Right.
Like, he's not the main artist in the games anymore. Like, his art back then was great, like the adventure era, but nowadays it's fucking amazing if you look up his most recent Sonic art. With Penders, that graph would be like a flat line. He's never improved.
Penders' art style is so fucking disgusting, dude.
It's like,
I can't stand to look at his work.
Like, it's actually like nauseating to look at.
Even some of the
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, even some of the earlier, like, Sonic Archie stuff was just really ugly to look at. Like, I don't know if that was Penders himself, but every time I see images of it online, I just can't stand it. It gets
when
better.
You showed me images, I was stunned. I'm like, wow. Really?
Titan Tails and all that?
Yeah, Titan Tails, or like that one where Sally was yelling at Sonic's, like,
or
do you
even
love me or not, or whatever.
The fucking infamous comic cover where Sonic is crying because he sees, like, a wedding invitation to Sally and some other character.
Sonic, come on, don't be a simp.
And I'm not sure how true the story is. I heard it on some Call Me Johnny stream once, but I think this might be true. But I heard that comic cover is part of the reason why the Sega finally took notice of what the fuck was going on with the Archie comics.
I can believe it.
They stepped in and they decided to, like, all right, no, we can't keep fucking doing this. We have to fix this shit now.
Sonic can't be crying about romance. What is this?
Because, like, this guy, I forgot who it was, but it was like a major, like, Sonic, like, person that was involved with Sonic the Hedgehog, like the games and all that. He walked into somewhere.
Naka?
I don't know if it was Yuji Naka, but it was someone of his caliber. And he walked into a store and he saw that comic on the rack, and he was, like, shocked by it because it's Sonic in, like, a vulnerable state. Like, we're not supposed to see that character like that.
Yeah.
God.
It's like, and over a fucking wedding invitation, even, like, Sonic getting cucked out of it. friend.
I swear every time that he put, I'm just gonna call him Pepe Le Pew because that's pretty much what that character is, right?
The French one?
The skunk character.
The whatever it was, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, the one that, and every single time this fucking skunk appears, he has to make out with Sally. Why?
What? I thought Sally was with Sonic with like Satam and stuff.
Look it up. They always
also,
like kiss.
He was also in the cartoon, right? Like that one wolf guy or whoever it was.
Yeah, he was French.
Yeah, that French guy.
Yeah. The like Pepe Le Pew skunk thing, whatever.
I don't think he was a skunk. Why do you keep saying that?
He was a skunk. I'm pretty sure he was a skunk.
I thought he was like a wolf.
All right, just go to the Sonic Wiki and find out.
All right, yeah. Let me just do that because
I don't remember this kid's name.
Sonic Satam.
Yeah, I just know he was a disgusting skunk thing.
Jesus Christ, calm down, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And no, he was not a skunk.
What was he?
Let me see. It says unspecified species. I'm not even kidding.
All right.
But he does not look like a skunk. I can assure you.
The thing with the black and white skunk, right?
He's not black and white.
No, he's not black and white. What are you talking about?
Yes, like
who are you talking about? Are you talking about like the actual Pepe Le Pew? Did you think he showed up in Sonic?
No.
He showed up to steal Sally Acorn.
Sally, I love you.
We should make beautiful music together.
Right, Lawrence, who are you talking about then?
Hold on, let me see if
Also, isn't Sally like 14 or some shit?
Yeah, and like I said, her love interest was Sonic. So, like, what are you talking about? Lawrence, what you were describing was literally Pepe Le Pew with like that cat that he made out with in Looney Tunes. Are you sure you're not confusing it with Sonic?
It's Jeffrey St. John. That's the name.
What? Okay, hold on.
He is a skunk. And every time he appears, they always make out.
This is why he took out these characters.
Jeffrey John, what?
Jeffrey St. John. I kid you not.
He's a saint?
He's a Sonic character.
He is a Sonic character.
I'm looking him up. Let me see. Okay, now I know who you're talking about. That is a skunk, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
His nickname was Pew.
Was it?
Yeah, it says here. Nickname, Le Pew.
Oh, look, creator, Ken Penders. All right, we won't see him again.
Exiled from existence.
All right, I thought Lawrence was actually going insane and that he confused the Looney Tunes character with a Sonic character for a second. Because I'm like, who are you talking about?
Yeah, and so...
Well, Lawrence, you don't have to worry anymore because he got Fano snapped.
I mean, see, the reason I bring it up is because I remember to read some of those really bad comics is that every time I just be like, wow, why is the skunk making out with Sally?
Jesus Christ.
Look it up.
The wiki here says that he has a wife. Excuse me.
Even worse.
Even worse.
Are you sure he was making out with Sally? It doesn't mention that here.
Here,
well, Google that too. Maybe images come up.
All right, I don't want to Google that. Are you kidding me?
All right.
We'll never know.
Jeffrey X Sally. Okay, let me look that up. Why not? Oh God, this fan art doesn't.
I hope no one actually ships that. That sounds so mean-spirited.
Okay, so it turns out, yeah, he does kiss her sometimes. There you go.
Alrighty.
Lawrence, why is your memory so selective? You remember that, but not the death egg? Really?
Fuck. He's got a point.
I know.
I don't remember that.
For you, Ray.
And I watched Sat Am, and I think I read at least a few issues of that comic.
The only reason I remember this is it was one of my first Sonic comics, which is really bad.
Damn, that must have been a rude awakening.
That was your intro to Sonic.
In fact,
that was your intro to Ken Penders' Nightmares?
God.
I remember because I went to this comic shop in Brooklyn, and that was like the first time I've ever bought a comic. And
we were like, yo, B, where's that Sonic comic?
Yo, give me that Ken Penders Sonic run.
I just picked up a Sonic comic on the side because I didn't know anything about like Spider-Man or Well, I did, but like I didn't really care too much about the comics.
Spider-Man,
at the
who's
time.
that?
So, and then I noticed, I'm like, I don't know what I want. And then I saw Sonic the Hedgehog. It was one of those like the Archie comics. And I was like, oh, I want this. And I got it. And then when I read it, I was like, oh, Jesus.
What the fuck is this?
I'm just like, so
What
this
is
is comic
this?
books. These are what comic books are.
Did you pick up a Sonic issue that didn't actually feature Sonic in it?
Yes, pretty much.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Where the fuck is Sonic?
What was it? I think this was number. I forget the. It might have been 20. I don't remember, but it was really bad. It was like the first time that they one of the first times that they show Jeffrey St. John, and like.
I can't believe you remember such a specific name.
I honestly didn't even remember it before I.
You know why I also thought you were going crazy? Because that name isn't that name similar to the actor who voices Duke Nukem in Big the Cat?
It is.
Like I think his name is similar to that. Let me look that up right now.
I got balls of steel.
Steel. Yeah. John St. John. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought you were confusing it with that.
Yo, John St. John versus Jeffrey St. John.
Literally, this issue that I bought, like, I think it was this one. It might have been this one. And
okay, now I'm looking at this character, yeah.
Yeah, I that was what showed up when I looked it up on Google.
Hold on.
All right, well,
this.
Okay,
This
there
was,
you go. You're not crazy.
Comic. And literally, Sonic's fucking dead.
Nice. They pulled an 06 and killed him.
Like, Tails is crying.
Jesus Christ.
And it says, in memory of Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right, can I ask, Ray,
since
you're more
intro,
knowledgeable, is the Archie run actually any good? Because all the time I ever talk about it with people, like you, we're just, like, shitting on stuff like this. So I'm curious, like, genuinely.
I can't speak for stuff that happened before the whole reboot thing that occurred in universe, but in terms of the stuff that happens afterwards, I can definitely say it picks up. It gets a lot better. I didn't follow it like religiously, but it was definitely much more appealing to look at. They already had way better artists on the run. The writing was really good. It's much more improved because they got Ian Flynn. Ken Penders is no longer writing for it. In terms of the Ken Penders run itself, yeah, I would probably have to get back to you on that. But in general, like whenever I see like a retrospective video, and whenever I just pick up the Ken Pender stuff that I own from way back in the day, I just look at it. I'm like, this is not Sonic the Hedgehog to me.
Man, look at the cover that Lawrence posted.
Wait,
that's like Sonic Force's Tails right there, freaking crying like a little bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I literally said he's fucking
Dude, seriously,
dead.
like this is why like the current state of Sonic makes me upset. Because in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, Tails was badass. He was growing up and like doing stuff on his own, and then in Forces, he freaking cries like Sonic, help me! Like because he can't fight Chaos Zero for Christ's sake. I'm like, bro, you fought Chaos 4. In Adventure 1.
Oh right,
what's the problem?
Right, I remember that. That was one of my favorite. Happened right after the next fight.
Dude, he pilots a fucking mech and takes on Dr. Eggman in SA2.
Yeah, it's in SA2. And when Sonic supposedly dies in SA2, he tries to fulfill his wish. I'm like, wow, what happened to that Tails? Because now he just curls up into a ball and starts sucking his thumb if Sonic isn't around.
Curls up into a ball.
I mean, hey, joke. Get it?
Yeah.
They actually do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Insert the Sonic ring get sound effect.
We won't get copyrighted if I put that in.
No, we won't.
If we put the ding, I hope not.
God.
Alright, great. I'm gonna put that in there.
Oh, jeez. Jeffrey St. John's design in the latest Archie comics is way fucking better than the image Lawrence posted. In that image Lawrence posted, he looks like a fucking Looney Tunes character, but look at this.
He really does. He really does. Okay, that is a way better.
Yeah.
Here, he looks like a Sonic character.
In the other one, he looks like Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
Next time, princess.
All right, look, I'm not even gonna lie. The thing that Lawrence posted, it looks like from a furry like porn.
It really does. It really does.
The one you posted, Ray, looks like a Sonic character.
It
Actually,
doesn't even look like it's from Sonic the Hedgehog. It looks like it's from just another general series with like anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah,
Right.
it's true. God, okay.
Like,
Thank God
look,
Penders is gone.
actually, you know what? Compare that image of Sally and Jeffrey St. John making out to the image below it with Sonic's model right there on the memorial, like how he looks, how he does in the games. Like the proportions are just weird because he has a big head right there and a small body, and these two have a small head on a human-sized body.
Man,
I cannot look at
God.
these. Like that was, and the thing is, this was like one of my ever. I am like disappointed that
This
that
was
was
your
my.
intro to comics.
It was my intro to comics and one of my like intros to Sonic too. Also, like it was just really, I don't know.
Imagine if like your first fucking like this is slightly off topic but related. Imagine if like your first intro to like Spider-Man or Superman is like issues where they die or like oh freak, you know that one issue of Spider-Man where it was like what was it
his
called?
radioactive semen.
Okay, well that could be one of them, but the one I was gonna go for like remember where like he had to make a deal with Dormammu or whoever it was of like
Dormammu.
That's
All
how
right,
he
so-
sounds like, I guess.
So at that point in Marvel's, Spider-Man revealed his identity to the world, and he and Mary Jane had a child. But I think something happened or something like that, so he had to make like a deal or whatever it was, and
Make like a
he
banana.
ended up
and
losing
split.
his daughter because of it, because they had to travel back in time to a point where he didn't reveal his identity. I forgot what the comic is called. Let me look this up actually. But imagine imagine that shit was your intro to Spider-Man, like your first impression.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain. My radioactive semen.
I don't think Dormammu wants that, sir.
Please, no.
Oh
God,
man.
okay. Man, so but yeah. Wow.
I think Spider-Man One More Day, I think.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I remember that.
Widely considered as the worst Spider-Man story of all time. The decision to abruptly end Peter Parker and Mary Jane's marriage generated outrage from fans and critics alike, causing a heavy downward shift of sales from readership. The events of One More Day were heavily panned upon the series' conclusion, although the artwork received praise. Yeah, this.
Oh my lord!
Imagine this shit was your impression of Spider. God.
Oh my god!
That was from, like,
and it came out.
2007.
The worst part is that it came out around the same time as Spider-Man 3. So if you didn't like that movie, then it was a pretty bad time to be a Spider-Man fan.
Wow, and this was 115 issues. Sorry, 155 issues. The last Amazing Spider-Man issue.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man. Its quality would jump up and down some.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I like that they started like, you know, the Dan Slott days were actually really good. I'm glad that they brought it back.
Yeah.
I remember when they killed Spider-Man in
for the last time, he's dead.
When they did that, I remember lots of people were so interested to the point where they had to reprint it 3 or 4 times in the actual like when they were they had to reprint that and the first issue of Superior Spider-Man 3 or 4 times because of how popular it got. And throughout the entire Superior series, once the Superior series was done and they moved on to the Amazing Spider-Man again, it was, I mean, popularity surged, and I think it was also perfect timing because that was right around the time that Ultron and Civil War was coming out.
Right.
So that was around the time that like Spider-Man was getting more popular again because there was a huge hiatus around the time that this infamous comic One More Day came out. There was a huge hiatus in Spider-Man that just like nobody knew what was going on besides the occasional video game that would come out for the Wii or a PS3 or something like that. So it's actually really I think it's really interesting, just kind of that build up, and now kind of where it is. I don't even know where Spider-Man comics ever since then that I don't track anymore.
Didn't Superior only last like a year and a half? And
Yeah, it was only like 30 like issues, plus the occasional annual issue. I think they did 2 annual issues.
it says here there were 45, at least according to Wikipedia.
45.
Yeah.
I think I really enjoyed the Superior series. It was really interesting to see a villain play the role of Spider-Man. That was actually really cool, especially a villain like Doc Ock.
It was an interesting run, yeah.
Huge contrast to what you see in the video game. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if one day they actually tried to like maybe make it like an animated series or something of
Yeah.
that.
Or maybe that's how the next MCU movie ends.
Imagine they just
Fucking
bring Doc
Doc
Ock
Ock.
and then at the he died. Like Peter Parker dies, and now suddenly his consciousness is replaced by Dr. Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
So, did we want to do one more topic, or did you guys want to?
Right, so I was gonna ask, we had topics that we didn't really do.
We
talked a little bit.
We went
little
on one huge tangent from the beginning of the show, but
Yeah.
We went
But I
on one
mean-
huge tangent to another, really.
that's
I only
what
put 4, so it's
it's,
alright.
it's like what we said earlier, that's what this podcast is. Like, we just have a regular conversation and it goes in different directions and we enjoy it. So, what time are we at right now, Lawrence, in terms of the recording?
We are at 2 hours and 45 minutes.
So we have
All right,
15 minutes. We can talk about Victorious for 15 minutes.
Or do you guys want to save that for like
Yeah, we
next
could
week
save
or the
that.
week after?
'Cause
Yeah,
I know
we-
Ray wanted to do a retrospective on a teen sitcom that we all grew up with called Victorious.
Yeah, because
Alright, so I will
just as a little teaser, that's what we're going to be doing next week. Because it is getting a little late, and it's like 2 hours 45 minutes in, as he just said. So, so I think we're just going to be closing it in here. But just as a teaser for the next episode, that's probably what we're going to start out with, a Victorious retrospective. And I
So
guess
if you have time, watch the entire Victorious series. It is up on Netflix. If you have it, borrow, beg, and steal somebody's Netflix account.
Steal?
Don't-
What the
don't
hell?
do that. Don't do that right now. But I mean, yeah, borrow someone's Netflix account or start a free trial or whatever,
Steal!
bro.
This retrospective is basically happening because the show got put on Netflix due to the deal that Nickelodeon and Netflix made.
Right.
And I think all of us were like really curious and wanting to do to have a nostalgic throwback, so we all watched it.
Yeah.
Cause it's fucking crazy to me. That show came out in 2010.
And now
It's been a
we're like,
decade.
now it's the time to be nostalgic for it, which is weird to think about.
It's weird to think about because I remember when the first episode aired.
Yeah, it still feels like recent. That's the thing.
Yeah. But it isn't. Like, the last episode aired in 2013. It's been 7 years.
It's so weird, honestly.
Yeah, well,
If you
we'll
have
talk-
time, go
Yeah.
watch it.
all 3 seasons are on there. I think it's 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So they have that. Unfortunately, the crossover episode with iCarly's not on there because that's considered an iCarly episode. So so you won't be able to see that. But I mean, if there are ways to see it online, then I
it
guess.
has the 3 special
Borrow, beg, and
episodes, at least.
steal.
And we'll probably talk about the bigger Snyderverse as it is, because I mean, like, I mean,
I
we talked
still love that we refer to it that way.
we talked
I
about
have
Zoe.
no problem with it.
We talked about Zoe 101 before in more detail. So
Yeah, we did.
we'll talk about Victorious. We'll probably talk maybe a little bit about iCarly and Drake and Josh.
What a wide array of topics this podcast covers. We go from like Spider-Man to Sonic, now to
Sonic.
Victorious.
Don't forget, we talked about Pepe Le Pew, okay?
And
You
Polar
talked
Express.
about Pepe Le Pew, I
The
guess.
Polar Express, man.
All right, we need to stop with that.
All right, everyone.
This was a good episode. It was a great comeback. I'm just glad in general we're getting to do these again. So and
Yeah.
Yo, we should start recording Let's Plays. Let's have Lawrence record himself playing Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, hey, you know what? When was the last time I did?
Yo, remember the Mickey Mouse Let's Play?
Yo, right, I
Enchanted
did
Kingdom?
stream. Yeah, I streamed the Mickey Mouse game. That was actually really good.
That was good, yeah.
I still have to go back and finish that too.
We should totally on a real note, we should totally get back into those. Like, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. We thank you all for joining us today. We've
Season 4
exhausted
premiere.
your ears. This is your season 4 premiere. Wow, I can't believe we're at season 4. Even though all of our seasons are being like 5 or 6 episodes, but hey, I'm not complaining. Are you? Okay, that was really
What was
bad.
with
I'm
that
sorry.
accent?
Also, to be fair, like, these episodes are like several hours long, so I mean, like, it's enough for like a whole season, like
Yeah.
just 5 or 6 and all.
Hey, I don't
So,
mind.
yeah.
Lots of like
I don't mind.
mainstream podcasts are only or something like that, so I mean, hey, we're killing it.
We're killing it, yeah. I mean,
On that-
people listen to us, so.
Killing it.
On that note, everyone, hopefully you'll see us either next week or the week after.
We'll see what happens. Again, stick to the Twitter. It'll be in the description.
All right, everybody. My name is Royal Dude Lorenzo. I am the Blue Squid here on the Inkling Brothers podcast.
My name is Ray, also known as Meatloaf Man, the Purple Squid on the Inkling Brothers podcast. We very briefly had Isaac, who never joined us, probably due to some behind-the-scenes stuff. He's the Red Squid. Go check him out as well. And
I'm Eric.
All right, everybody.
Catch
Electric
y'all on the
Boogaloo
flip
Part
side.
2. See you guys next time.
see ya.
Peace.